Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. I'm in Konoha, start with a forest fruit. Chapter 31. Tisk tisk, Lu Ren, you are really amazing. After a few days. At noon, the sun was shining brightly. Just finished a visit from the hospital. Satisfied with Lu Ren's performance, Tsunade is in a great mood. I specially brought Lu Ren and Shizune to Akamaiki's barbecue shop. As expected of a medical savior praised by everyone. Shizune looked at the little junior, smiled and said, "It's only been a few days, and I feel like you're almost surpassing me." In just a few days, Chenny Lu Ren's reputation as a genius once again spread like wildfire. He even got a title directly, known as the medical little sage. As for those medical staff in Konoha Hospital who thought Tsunade was too messy, they used Konoha's patients and wounded to let their 8-year-old disciples practice their hands, and they were somewhat dissatisfied and suspicious in their hearts. Over the past few days, they were all overwhelmed by Lu Ren's monster-like talent. I have given a lot of face to Master Tsunade, the teacher, and her senior sister. Under the guidance of her senior sister, Lu Ren, who has already mastered various medical ninjutsu, continues to carry out clinical treatment. Some of the wounded who were injured due to missions had severed limbs, lost too much blood, some had their intestines leaked out and then stuffed back in, and some were even severely burned. All kinds of injuries have been tried one by one. She was amazed by the rapid progress. It's all senior sister, you teach well, and junior brother, I'm still far behind. Lu Ren is not too complacent. It was only when I practiced with Tsunade in the hospital that I realized that I was really sitting on the sidelines, and I was too far behind. After all, a truly excellent medical ninja is not just able to simply treat some trauma. Especially those congenital diseases and bacterial infections. It requires a wealth of experience and knowledge to be able to treat symptoms. In the past few days, Lu Ren has benefited a lot from Shizune's diagnosis and treatment of patients suffering from special diseases. For some troublesome diseases, even if it exceeds the limit of Shizune's own ability, he can directly consult the famous teacher Tsunade. This also makes Lu Ren's medical level. It continues to improve at an alarming rate every day. At the same time, his vision has also been greatly improved, and he has a new understanding of medical ninjutsu. He saw with his own eyes that several patients who were helpless in the hospital and even issued a death notice were cured under Tsunade's incredible treatment. It really turned decay into magic. Even some internal organs were injured, the injuries were extremely serious, and his life was dying. He had only half his life left. Under the guidance of Tsunade's superb experience. It was performed by Shizune, a disciple, and he and Jonin, the other medical class, acted as underlings. Sheng Sheng pulled the opponent back from the gate of hell. It took his breath away. It is worth mentioning that even third Hokage, who is concerned about his freshly baked, Sanin disciple. Yesterday, I deliberately took time out from my busy schedule and went to Konoha Hospital to praise him. But before trying to sacrifice his invincible magic weapon, the will of fire, he was driven back by the grumpy Tsunade, completely disrespecting the Hokage teacher. Sarutobi Hiruzen could only maintain Hokage's demeanor, and left with the guards. It made Chenny Lu Ren almost laugh out loud. It has to be Akamaiki's authentic yakiniku. With the roast meat in between, Lu Ren tasted it happily. No wonder Uncle Ding Zuo's family has so many people, each of them still eats a lot, and none of them went bankrupt. In the past, Nara Shikahisa, Yamanaka Haiichi, Akamaiki Choza and others also took him and Shikamaru, Ino, Choji and other juniors to eat here several times. Then, Lu Ren was completely hooked. The taste is really good. With the financial support of Chenny now, he comes here once or twice a month for a barbecue. As for the Ichiraku ramen, it's not bad, but not to Lu Ren's liking. Pushing a piece of barbecue to the drooling Tonko next to him, Shizune nodded in agreement. Akamaiki's barbecue is indeed a must in Konoha. If you like it, eat more and add some energy. Tsunade sandwiched a few pieces of roast meat and put them on Lu Ren's plate. Looking at that handsome immature face, touching his head, he smiled dotingly and said, "There are still a few major operations in the afternoon." She has noticed Lu Ren's behavior these past few days. Neither arrogant nor impetuous, completely without the arrogance of becoming famous when young. Made her very happy. To be honest, if it was her at the same age, she would have such strength. Tsunade felt that his tail was already on the sky. Thank you, Sister Tsunade. Lu Ren was grinning and not polite. Although he does not need to eat normally at all. But he is also very pursuit of appetite. However, the Akamaiki family is more than just a yakiniku business. Tasting the barbecue, Tsunade added with a smile, the Bingliong pills sold by their family are well known in the ninja world. They are extremely popular items and are very popular among ninjas. This is a profiteering business. So it is. Lu Ren was stunned. At first, he thought that Akamaiki's family only had secret medicine like the three-color pill. It turned out that he was still running the business of Bingliongwan. He looked at Tsunade's beautiful and young face, and had some doubts. Speaking of which, is there no one or any force that analyzes the ingredients of Bingliong pills and then imitates them? He is no stranger to Bingliongwan. It is said that it can quickly restore its own chakra. But similar to compressed dry food, if you accidentally eat too much, it will be indigestible. The effect of this thing is amazing. In case of insufficient chakra in battle, it is very useful. Also because of its efficacy, Bingliong pills have been widely used in previous wars, and they are very common war supplies. Some special Bingliong pills, even the chakra that can instantly strengthen the ninja, have amazing effects. This is not just the exclusive business of the Akamaiki family. Families like Uchiha, Hyuga, Inazuka, Aburame, etc., many families have their own Bingliongwan. Tsunade explained there. After all, the formula of ordinary Bingliong pills is not a big secret in the ninja world, and it is also easy to analyze the relevant ingredients in it. But generally speaking, the Bingliongwan produced by Akamaiki's family has better effect and is naturally more popular. Of course, Akamaiki's family also has a special secret medicine with better effects, the three-color pill, which can instantly enhance one's own chakra, and the effect is amazing. But those are not for sale, they are only used by members of the Akamaiki family, and they have considerable side effects. Now, outside Konoha village, outside the root organization's base. Master Danzo, a figure dressed as Anbu knelt on one knee. Shimura Danzo, the root leader on crutches, asked directly, is there any movement in the Uchiha clan? Not for the time being. Master Tsunade, one of the Sannin, suddenly returned to the village, forcing them to postpone the coup plan. This is only temporary, the ambition of the Uchiha clan will never give up because of this. Shimura Danzo asked indifferently, Itachi, tell me your answer. At this time, that Anbu raised his head. On a young, handsome face with tear troughs, there were actually two scarlet eyes inlaid. In the blood-colored pupils, 3 black hooked jade horns are clearly visible. For the sake of the village, this is a necessary sacrifice. The Uchiha clan, who are increasingly dissatisfied with the village and always want to launch a coup to seize power, can no longer be kept. Looking down at the genius of the Uchiha clan in front of him, Shimura Danzo said quietly, but you still have a choice. As long as you are willing to take action, get rid of the rest of the Uchiha clan and eliminate potential hidden dangers in the village, your brother Uchiha Sasuke can do it. Survive. Yes, I've made up my mind. After listening to Danzo's words, Uchiha Itachi's face remained calm and expressionless. Kaido said, tonight, the Uchiha clan will end with my own hands. However, the veins of the left hand that was pressing on the knee were bulging. It seemed that his heart was not really so peaceful. Then, I'll leave it to you. Half an hour later. Behind the Uchiha tribe, in a deserted forest, come out. Uchiha Itachi, who came here, spoke in a low voice. Swipe. The space in front of him suddenly distorted. A masked figure appeared there. Looking at the expressionless Uchiha Itachi, he said calmly, it seems that you have made a choice. But what a surprise. He has only one right eye exposed. It turned out to be the Scarlet Sharingan. I need your help. Uchiha Itachi said indifferently. In his eyes, there was determination. He was only 13 years old, with a slightly immature tone, with a cold voice, the security forces on the west side, I will leave it to you. No problem, just think of it as a little exercise. The mysterious masked man twisted his neck and spoke lightly. Remember, don't hurt Sasuke, he is my spare eye. Uchiha Itachi said coldly. Don't worry, I won't do anything to your brother. What about the time? 8 o'clock tonight. Good. Evening. The night is dark and windy. The moon is extraordinarily round. However, the whole Konoha was filled with an inexplicable depressing atmosphere. Just came out of Konoha Hospital. Chenny, Lu Ren, and Tsunade had already noticed the strange aura. Tsunade paused, frowning slightly. What's wrong, Master Tsunade? Although he felt that the atmosphere in the village was a bit weird, Shizune didn't notice the abnormality and looked at Tsunade with some puzzlement. It's the direction of the Uchiha clan. A large number of ninjas surrounded it. The chakra wave is not weak. Something may have happened. Chenny Lu Ren shrugged and looked at Tsunade. Sister Tsunade, do you want to go there? With his powerful perception ability, he has already sensed that there are a large number of not weak chakra around the Uchiha family. Apparently, the tribe's land has been quietly surrounded by a large number of Anbu personnel. I'm afraid not even a fly can fly out. Uchiha. Tsunade heard the words. He couldn't help but frown. What? Shizune beside him was shocked. She remembered that when Third Hokage met Tsunade a few days ago, he said that the Uchiha clan was very restless. Could it be related to that? Let's go. Don't worry about those bullshit things, just let them go. The brows gradually loosened. Tsunade clearly had no intention of interfering. As a member of the Senju family, she doesn't have much affection for Uchiha, and she doesn't care about it. He directly said to Lu Ren, "You have been tired all day, go back quickly." Understood, Sister Tsunade. Then see you tomorrow. Lu Ren nodded seriously, separate from Tsunade and Shizune. Headed towards Chenny's house. Finally, is it time to start? However, no one found out. The corner of Lu Ren's mouth slightly raised. He is not a bad person, and he never thought about saving anyone. It was planned from the beginning to get a share of the action as much as possible. Passing by a deserted corner, Lu Ren remained calm. But no one knows. Under his feet, the root-like vines are like indestructible steel needles. It passed through the ground in an instant, and grew into thin figures one after another at a speed visible to the naked eye. Immediately afterwards, one after another, they sneaked silently from the ground towards Uchiha's clan. Moreover, those thin figures, all changed in the blink of an eye. It turned into a series of white figures. It is the appearance of White Zetsu Avatar. Mayfly technique. Pretend to be a technique. These two abilities were previously obtained from the White Zetsu clone. It finally came in handy. The left and right are about to be destroyed. Then Uchiha's legacy, I will accept it without hesitation. Wow woof. In Uchiha's family land, because at night, every house is lit up with lights. Occasionally, there were a few dogs barking. However, on a telephone pole, Uchiha Itachi wearing Anbu's combat uniform and carrying a ninja sword. Looking at those lights, silent. A pair of scarlet three-tomo Sharingan, full of ruthlessness and determination. Without further hesitation, he pulled out the blade behind him. He rushed to the nearest room. Kai, Itachi. Ah, why, Kang, my child, Itachi, you, ah. ... The screams continued. A house of lights, gradually extinguished, and there were even angry curses and fierce fighting sounds. However, the battle soon ended. Blood spattered on the window. Uchiha Itachi seems to have turned into a ruthless killing machine, killing anyone he sees. No matter men, women, old or young, even ordinary clansmen who have no power to restrain a chicken. Some people even greeted him during the day, talking and laughing. One by one fell in a pool of blood. Tisk tisk, it's really cruel. One after another, white human figures emerged from the ground silently, followed by screams and fighting sounds. Unceremoniously, gouged out one pair after another of the chakra corpses. In the homes of some well-to-do Uchiha people, Tsunade was directly raided. Because, Lu Ren gave them instructions. Not just Sharingan. Uchiha's property, as well as the ninjutsu, secret techniques and even the forbidden technique that this huge family has collected and accumulated over the long years, he wants them all. Soon, together with the Uchiha family, it is specially used to store ninjutsu and secret arts, and no one is allowed to trespass without the permission of the patriarch and elders. Those Uchiha watchmen who have already activated the three-tomo Sharingan, reached the level of Jonin or even Elite Jonin, and Uchiha Itachi, who have been directly activated by Mangekyo Sharingan one after another, crushed them cleanly with their powerful pupil power. The massacre was exhausted. The talent itself is amazing, and he has been instructed by his friend Uchiha Shisui during his lifetime. Uchiha Itachi's attainments in illusion are indeed quite amazing, and he has already played well. False and real, false and true. Even without using Mangekyo Sharingan's unique pupil technique, which has a huge load. It is far from comparable to these Uchiha people who only have 3 Tomo Sharingan at most. Most importantly, these Uchiha powerhouses are too dependent on the Sharingan, and even overconfident in the power of the Sharingan to a blind degree. He thinks that Sharingan can see through any illusion, and he doesn't even know whether he is still in the illusion. Otherwise, even if Uchiha Itachi was caught by surprise, it would be impossible to eliminate so many strong Uchihas so easily in such a short period of time. After watching from a distance, Uchiha Itachi killed the guards in the library, and then continued to rush in other directions without stopping. Several white figures slowly emerged from the ground. Take out the storage scrolls found in other Uchiha houses and start rummaging through them. The scrolls of ninjutsu and secret techniques accumulated by the Uchiha clan over the long years were stored in the storage scroll one by one. With that exaggerated ability to travel through, even if some important secret techniques and related forbidden techniques are stored in extremely hidden secret rooms, they cannot stop their footsteps. It was quickly scoured. Immediately afterwards, the entire library building caught fire. Now, Uchiha's patriarch compound, Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Makoto couple. Kneeling there, facing Uchiha Itachi who broke in with a knife. Uchiha Fugaku, who had already realized what had happened, said calmly, "It seems that you, Itachi, have made a choice and are on their side." "Father, I'm sorry." Uchiha Itachi's eyes were firm. "In this way, there will be no war in the village, and Sasuke will be able to survive. Although I am the patriarch of Uchiha, I am also a father, unwilling to kill each other with my son." Looking at his son, Uchiha Fugaku said, "Since you have made a choice, let's go on firmly. Your father and I have already taken the poison." Uchiha Makoto looked at Uchiha Itachi, without the slightest fear of facing death, but smiled and said, "Itachi, you don't have to be sad, Mom doesn't blame you." "Father, Mother." Uchiha Itachi burst into tears. The ninja knife in his hand couldn't help trembling. Looking at Uchiha Itachi, who was full of tears, Uchiha Makoto was full of pity. "Our pain is just a moment, but your pain is a lifetime. No matter what, you are my proudest son. Remember to take care of Sasuke." Trembling, Uchiha Itachi came behind his parents. Holding the ninja knife that was stained with the blood of countless people in both hands, he raised it tremblingly. Painful face, eyes closed. Chop down hard. Kai. 2 figures just fell in a pool of blood. And Uchiha Itachi lay limp on the ground, tears streaming down his face. A pair of Sharingan with 3 hooks turned into a triangular pinwheel shape again. After a long time, he took a deep breath, wiping bloodline off his face. Looking at the frightened, thin figure who staggered in. That was his younger brother, Uchiha Sasuke, who had just returned from ninja school. As for why the ninja school happened to have an event, and it was so late after school, I don't know. "Brother, what happened?" Looking at the bloody corpses of Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Makoto. And Uchiha Itachi standing there, bloody and murderous. His face was pale and full of horror, and Uchiha Sasuke trembled in disbelief. Mom and Dad, and everyone. After returning to the tribe, he found that there were many corpses of clansmen on the street. A little scared and a little worried, he ran back from the outside desperately. As a result, I found that my parents were also murdered. For a while, it was difficult to accept. While heartbroken, he was also a little terrified. "Well, I know, because I killed them." Uchiha Itachi's voice was grim. Made Uchiha Sasuke freeze. "What?" Sasuke was shocked. He shook his head vigorously, unwilling to believe. "No, brother, you can't do this, are you lying to me?" "Then let you take a good look." Uchiha Itachi's triangular pinwheel-shaped Sharingan. It turned directly. Tsukuyomi. All of a sudden, Uchiha Sasuke only felt the scene change. Immediately afterwards, like a third party, from Uchiha Itachi slaughtering the first clansman, to Uchiha Itachi mercilessly swinging a knife at their parents, the scene of the Uchiha clan exterminating the clan was collected at the end of the month. The scene is extremely real. But unfortunately, he could see it, but couldn't touch it. Can't stop it either. He was panting and pale. While being hit hard, it was even more unacceptable and full of anger. Glaring at Uchiha Itachi, he clenched his fist and asked loudly, "No, it's not true, tell me, why?" He couldn't believe that the elder brother he admired the most brutally slaughtered his entire family, even their parents. "To test my mettle," Uchiha Itachi said coldly. "This stupid and arrogant family will only indulge in the false glory of the past, dreaming unrealistic dreams. There is no need for existence anymore." Uchiha Sasuke lost his mind and rushed forward angrily. The eyes became extremely scarlet. The black hook jade is looming. Uchiha Itachi, who noticed this scene, resisting the pain in his heart, he kicked mercilessly. Single Guyu. "But Sasuke, this is not enough, forgive me." Bang! Uchiha Sasuke, who lost his mind and was kicked hard, curled up and broke out in cold sweat. The whole person woke up from the severe pain. Aware of the huge gap in strength between the two, great fear arose. Looking in horror at Uchiha Itachi, who was full of murderous looks and no longer looked like a gentle brother before. Just want to escape. However, Uchiha Itachi appeared directly in front of it. Grabbing his neck, used Tsukuyomi on him again. "Oh no, don't make me watch that, bro, no, I don't want to go through this again." Although seeing Sasuke was greatly stimulated, Sharingan did not advance further. Somewhat disappointed, Uchiha Itachi held Uchiha Sasuke, who was almost insane and almost unconscious, with one hand, and threw him hard. In Uchiha Sasuke's eyes of resentment and fear, looking down at him and said coldly, "My stupid brother. If you want to kill me, just hate and curse, and then live ugly. Keep escaping and escaping, just to live, and one day when you have the same eyes as mine, come to me. Sasuke, work hard to become stronger, my eyes will always be reserved for you." As Uchiha Sasuke has a nervous breakdown, he falls there unconscious. Uchiha Itachi, with tears on his face, finally looked back at the dead bodies of his parents, and left resolutely. Tisk tisk, what a loving father and filial son, a family of respectful brothers and brothers. Two white figures quietly appeared from the ground. "Leave it to me here, you are responsible for searching. Anyway, both are the patriarchs of Uchiha. In Uchiha Fugaku's house, the harvest must be indispensable. Moreover, there should be some related ninjutsu and secret art scrolls anyway. Kaila, no procrastination." The eyes of Uchiha Makoto and Uchiha Fugaku were ruthlessly gouged out successively. This pupil power really opened Mangekyo. Looking at the bloody, 3-go jade eyeballs, the wood clone disguised as White Zetsu couldn't help but be overjoyed to feel the powerful pupil power inside. Without looking at Uchiha Sasuke, who was lying there, take the Sharingan collected and stored in the storage scroll, slowly sank into the ground. And this time, on the street of the Uchiha clan, the root organization's people have already begun to enter the arena. Under the command of Shimura Danzo, recover the Sharingan from those corpses. And third Hokage, who seemed to be completely unaware from the beginning, led the Anbuta, be long overdue. Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked to see Uchiha's horrific scene. Check immediately, restrain the corpse, and see if there are any survivors. Take a deep breath. Third Hokage ordered there. Hiruzen, now the danger in the village is eliminated. Shimura Danzo said it directly. After all, Uchiha is also a part of our Konoha. Danzo, you shouldn't act on your own. This is a necessary sacrifice. Danzo said indifferently. In his opinion, Uchiha, who has always been disobedient, should have been eliminated long ago. You're too presumptuous, Danzo. Third Hokage frowned, seeming a little angry. Obviously the situation has not reached such a point, but you actually bypassed me, Hokage, and incited Uchiha Itachi to attack the Uchiha clan directly. Hiruzen, everything I do is for Konoha. Shimura Danzo's complexion changed, and he hurriedly said loudly. For Konoha. Third Hokage, who was sipping a pipe, stared at Shimura Danzo and said abruptly, I think Shisui's death may have something to do with you, right? Danzo, I can no longer ignore your behavior. Talking. Don't wait for Shimura Danzo, whose face changed drastically, to defend. Third Hokage's face was serious, and in a tone that could not be violated, he resolutely said, from today, you will be relieved of your post as Hokage's assistant, and the root organization will officially belong to Anbu's jurisdiction. In addition, you are punished to face the wall at home and think about your mistakes, and you are not allowed to go out. Hiruzen, needless to say, looking at the high-sounding excuse, he directly deprived himself of the position of Hokage assistant, without looking back at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who left. Shimura Danzo turned black. However, it is impossible to directly disobey the other party's order. And he was also afraid that if he continued to entangle Sarutobi Hiruzen, a kind-hearted and dark guy, would directly force himself to hand over Shisui's eyes. Hateful. His eyes were dark and cold. Danzo slammed his cane hard, feeling a little aggrieved. He's not Hokage after all. Master Danzo. A root ninja appeared and got down on one knee. Danzo suppressed his anger and asked, "Have you counted all those corpses?" A lot of Sharingan got poached, even Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Makoto couple. The root ninja was busy reporting to him. At the same time, he speculated, could it be Uchiha Itachi? What? Heard the words. Shimura Danzo had his eye on these Sharingans from the beginning, seeing them as his own. It never occurred to me that someone would dare to pull out their teeth. Immediately a little angry. It can't be Itachi. If he wants to do that, he will definitely take away his parents' corpses. But after all, he remained rational and analyzed it carefully. Think it can't be Uchiha Itachi did it. At that moment, he gritted his teeth and ordered, "Search for me, you must not let go of any clues." Yes. Chenny's house. Kurenai Yuhi and Naochia finished dinner. Sen Shiha hung back. Chenny Lu Ren returned to the room. One after another, white figures appeared in his room, one after another from the wall. One storage scroll after another was placed in front of him, one after another. Inside, a large amount of money is sealed, related ninjutsu scrolls, even Sharingan. It's really rewarding. Checked out those belongings. In addition to some cash, there is also a large amount of gold and silver jewelry. Although it is not all the property of the Uchiha family, it is not even a tenth of the bank deposits that the Uchiha family cannot get. But it is still extremely rich, and the amount is astonishingly large. Among them, most of them were found from the elders of the Uchiha clan, as well as the homes of those Uchiha Jonin who were powerful and not low in status. Illusion, ninjutsu, physical art. Not to mention the parts found from the homes of the Uchiha clan. The library of the Uchiha clan alone covers ninjutsu of the 5 attributes of wind, thunder, water, fire, and earth, from low level to high level, and even S-level forbidden technique, even representative. There are quite a few advanced illusions with yin attributes. Chenny Lu Ren showed a smile. As expected of Uchiha, the #1 family in Konoha. Even Sharingan has collected a lot, 57 pairs of 1 Go Jade, 33 pairs of double Go Jade, 15 pairs of 3 Go Jade. Looking at those bloody scarlet eyeballs, he was full of excitement, and 1 pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. A wave of fat, have to say, thanks to the ability of the white Zetsu clone to come to your door. Otherwise, he really didn't dare to take such a risk. It is also impossible to reap such a rich reward quietly. Without white Zetsu's ability, if he really dared to participate directly, he would definitely expose himself. Konoha's sensory ninjas are not decorations. Fugaku's eyes, don't worry so much. Try to devour the pupil power of these low-level Sharingan first, and see if I can directly activate Mangekyo. Looking at the pair of bloody and scarlet eyeballs in front of him. Even Chenny Lu Ren couldn't help being a little excited. Full of anticipation. Give it to you. Consider it for a moment, to prevent accidents. He split a wood clone, responsible for vigilance. No problem. Wood clone nodded. Scrub. Tiny vines appeared one by one, flying out directly from Lu Ren's hands. One after another, they pierced through the bloody eyeballs one after another. Gurgle, as if he was devouring something. Those vines bulged out from time to time. Can't help surging. Lu Ren's eyes, I don't know when, has become 3 Tomo Sharingan. Moreover, with the continuous devouring of the chakra and pupil power contained in the Sharingan, it was spinning rapidly there. 1 Guyu Sharingan, 2 Tomo Sharingan, 3 Tomo Sharingan. In a blink of an eye, a large number of Sharingan were all swallowed up. Only Uchiha Fugaku's Mangekyo Sharingan remains. Swipe. For a moment, under the stimulation of the powerful chakra and the astonishing pupil power, Lu Ren's scarlet Sharingan, 3 black hook jades kept turning. Vaguely. Scene after scene flashed through his mind, as if he experienced it himself. The death of a loved one, the sacrifice of a close friend, facing a desperate situation, and life hanging by a thread. At this moment, the extremely strong emotion resonated strongly with him. Fear, sadness, anger, despair, unwillingness. All kinds of strong emotions are intertwined, constantly impacting Lu Ren's mind. HMPH. He broke out in a cold sweat. With a muffled grunt, he clenched his fists tightly. His veins bulged, and he couldn't help crying out. But the opposite wood clone, who had been paying attention to the main body, immediately stepped forward and covered it. Hey, main body, don't make too much noise at this time. My veins popped all over my body. Lu Ren's eyes were wide open with pain on his face. He bit the wood clone directly, his face was flushed, and his eyeballs were bloodshot with horror. Swipe. Before he knew it, a special chakra burst out of his mind. The 3 black hook jades suddenly turned into complicated patterns. Gorgeous lines, blooming there. Mangekyo Sharingan. Open. Who? I was sweating profusely. It was as if all the energy in his body had been exhausted. Lu Ren lay there limp, gasping for breath. Tisk tisk, did you activate Mangekyo Sharingan? It's incredible. Staring at the complex pattern presented in the bloody eyes of the main body, Wood Clone was full of doubts. However, what happened just now? The chakra and pupil power contained in those Sharingan are so mixed, they actually resonated with my Sharingan, which made these images of the Sharingan host's eye-opening appear in my mind, and even my emotions were affected. Take a long breath. Lu Ren recalled the experience just now, and said in a deep voice, therefore, rather than devouring the pupil power of those Sharingans and opening the Mangekyo Sharingan, it is better to say that I was stimulated by a strong spirit and opened it myself. Mangekyo Sharingan. Although I was almost affected by those emotions, it was a blessing in disguise. There is a high probability that there is an essential difference between the Mangekyo opened by itself and the Mangekyo opened by the fusion of a large number of Sharingan's pupil power. Especially, in its own Mangekyo pupil power. After merging with the Sharingan pupils that devoured them, his own pupil power has already become unbelievably strong. Give. Lu Ren took the mirror from Wood Clone. Looking at the black pattern in the scarlet eyes reflected on the mirror, he discovered that his Mangekyo Sharingan was slightly different. The complexity of the Mangekyo patterns far exceeds those of Uchiha Obito, Uchiha Shisui, Uchiha Itachi, and others. It looks more like a combination of 2 Mangekyo patterns, leaning towards the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan pattern. Is it because of absorbing a lot of Sharingan? Lu Ren caressed his eyes, and couldn't help showing an excited smile. I can feel that the huge pupil power in both eyes far surpasses Uchiha Fugaku's Mangekyo. Moreover, due to my own perfect Yang-dun power, it won't lose its sight due to excessive use of pupil power. Uchiha Obito's half-baked Hashirama cell. It can directly offset the load brought by his single Mangekyo Sharingan. What's more, as a descendant of the Logia Sensen fruit ability user and the Senju clan, he possesses the perfect Yang escape power under the combination of the two. As long as you don't use forbidden technique like Izanagi or Izanami directly, he would not be in danger of going blind at all. Then, what kind of pupil technique was born? Wood Clone was a little curious. I am full of expectations for the Mangekyo Sharingan pupil technique obtained by the main body. A pupil technique. Caressing his eyes, Lu Ren raised the corners of his mouth. In the blood-colored Mangekyo, mysterious patterns turned. His whole body disappeared directly in front of Wood Clone. Wood Clone's pupils shrank sharply. The next moment, he felt someone tap his shoulder. But there was no one around at all. However, his perception ability inherited from the ontology. But can clearly perceive that amazing chakra. It can be confirmed that the main body is right in front of him. He was close at hand, but he couldn't see him in person. Is it invisible? He tried to reach out. However, it passed through strangely. Sharingan. Wood Clone closed his eyes. He opened it suddenly, and his eyes narrowed sharply. A blurry black shadow appeared in his line of sight. The complex chakra meridian system is clearly identifiable, and it is Lu Ren, the main body. See me. Brush. Inside the room, the figure of Lu Ren manifested. He looked at Lu Ren, who suddenly appeared in front of him, but was actually there a long time ago and hadn't moved. Wood Clone was inexplicably surprised, and couldn't help analyzing. I can see the existence of you, but I can't touch you. And you really touched me just now. He looked at his own body and asked curiously, is it a space-time pupil technique similar to Kamui? That's right, but it's not so much the time-space pupil technique like Kamui, it's more like the pupil technique like Wheel Tomb Boundary Prison. Lu Ren said with a chuckle there, although to some extent, it can also be said to be a space-time pupil technique. Round Tomb. That's a Rinnegan-level pupil technique. Wood Clone was inexplicably surprised, a little inconceivable. Although your current pupil power is far superior to that of an ordinary Mangekyo Sharingan, after all, you are not even an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, right? Pupil technique Dashway Mochi. Lu Ren didn't hold back, and said with a smile, this is the pupil technique conceived by my Mangekyo Sharingan. Similar to Uchiha Obito's Kamui. Both of his eyes have the same ability, but their functions are different. Dashway Mochi, it can open a parallel space called the Netherworld. Lu Ren crossed his arms and said, and I can place myself in this world, appearing partially or completely invisible to the outside, ignoring any attack. Isn't this Kamui's hollow ability? Listening to the main body's introduction, Wood Clone raised his eyebrows. At first glance, it seems that it is not as good as Uchiha Obito's Kamui. However, according to the verification just now, the performance of the pupil technique of Dashway Mochi is obviously more than that. Of course it's much more than that. Lu Ren added with a smile. What is really incomprehensible is that, like Uchiha Madara's Wheel Tomb, I can put myself in the parallel space of the Netherworld and directly launch an attack that cannot be seen by the naked eye. It has to be said that the Eye of Soul portrayal is worthy of its name. This reflects his unattainable ambition like an abyss. Of course, it's not without limitations. At present, he can only enter the Netherworld for 10 minutes at most. Moreover, it is different from the round tomb and border prison that ordinary people cannot perceive at all. Lu Ren, who is in the Netherworld, can be seen by advanced pupil techniques such as Sharingan and White Eyes. In the current situation where there is no way to directly hide chakra like second Tsuchikage Wu, some sentient ninjas can indeed directly perceive his existence. But as long as you are in the ghost world, it is ineffective against external attacks. But it doesn't count as a low-end version of the Wheel Tomb. Because, Uchiha Madara's Wheel Tomb is powerful though. But he himself can only manipulate the shadows in the Wheel Tomb world, and cannot directly enter the Wheel Tomb. When in danger, although the main body can exchange positions with the Wheel Tomb clone, let it die instead. But there is still considerable risk. And Lu Ren is equivalent to being in the invincible time. Moreover, in the parallel space of the Netherworld, it is also possible to directly launch invisible attacks on the enemy. That is, does it have some of the abilities of Kamui and Lunmu? Wood Clone nodded suddenly. Although the effect cannot reach the sum of the two, it also has natural advantages. Indeed, in general, regardless of whether it is comparable to Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan pupil Wheel Tomb border prison. A pupil technique of Mangekyo level. Being able to reach this level, Lu Ren is already very satisfied. However, what I'm more curious about is what kind of pupil technique Uchiha Fugaku's eyes have. Lu Ren's eyes became hot, with a little anticipation. He looked at the pair of Mangekyo Sharingan that had not yet been swallowed by him. At present, even if he directly devours the corpses of other ninjas, he cannot obtain the ninjutsu and memories mastered by the other party. Unless he can do it on this basis in the future. Combined with some secret techniques that can directly check other people's memory, and even plunder target ninjutsu, a brand new forbidden technique has been developed. It's not impossible. After all, it is the Yamanaka family's secret art alone. It is possible to read the memory of the target from the corpse and obtain relevant information. But for Lu Ren, it's too early to tell. But Sharingan is different. He already has Sharingan himself. Can take advantage of the upgraded ability of Sensen Guo. There is a high probability that while directly plundering Uchiha Fugaku's Mangekyo Sharingan pupil power, he can obtain the pupil technique conceived by his Mangekyo. Swipe. Brush. 2 fingers outstretched. In an instant, it turned into a vine and flew out. Through those bloody eyeballs. Swipe. The amazing chakra, so powerful that his pupils were so powerful, sank into Lu Ren's body one after another. It began to be strongly absorbed and integrated by Lu Ren's pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. The strange Mangekyo pattern turned rapidly. However, when Uchiha Fugaku's Mangekyo Sharingan dries up, it turns into fly ash. There was still no other change in Lu Ren's eyes. Did not translate into new patterns. Failed, Wood Clone, who was paying attention to this scene, asked in surprise. No, it worked, feeling the unprecedentedly huge pupil power. As if you can really let yourself do whatever you want. Lu Ren clenched his fists tightly and smiled excitedly. My eyes have fully reached the level of eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Even if I don't have the perfect yang escape power in my body, I won't lose my eyesight due to overuse. Quote. As for why the pattern hasn't changed, it should be the reason why I didn't directly put on the pair of Mangekyo. But it doesn't matter. I heard that the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, in addition to the pupil technique of itself and the replacement Mangekyo Sharingan, can also give birth to a new pupil technique. Ontology, do your eyes have new pupil techniques? I haven't felt it yet. In the scarlet eyes, gorgeous patterns slowly turned. Realizing his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Lu Ren frowned slightly. Maybe it's still gestating, not mature yet. Or, you need to train your pupil power to ultimate to be able to give birth to a brand new pupil technique. He was guessing there. I remember that in the original trajectory, the future Uchiha Sasuke couldn't hold on soon after opening Mangekyo Sharingan because of overuse. Then I couldn't wait to change Uchiha Itachi's eyes and get the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. But in the Fourth Ninja World War, he had not yet had time to fully adapt and fully exercise his pupil power. Just get the gift of Sage of Six Paths directly, and open the Six-Hook Jade Rinnegan. It is probably because the pupil power has not been fully tempered, and the level jump was too fast, which directly killed the pupil technique that should belong to the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Anyway, I have never seen Uchiha Sasuke use it. In addition to Rinnegan's basic ability, there is also the time-space pupil technique and the power of the sky. In battle, coming and going is the pupil technique of Mangekyo Sharingan. That is, the so-called eternal fire of Amaterasu and flame control, which specializes in manipulating flames. Of course, this is just his guess. Not necessarily true. But anyway, Fugaku's Mangekyo pupil art alone gave me a nice surprise. Lu Ren smiled. Oh, Wood Clone was surprised. I know how high my vision is. Ordinary pupil techniques, the ontology is definitely not up to it. It can be seen that Uchiha Fugaku's pupil technique, which has never been shown in front of people, is very unusual. Uchiha Shisui had a plan before his death to use distinguished heavenly gods on Uchiha Fugaku as the patriarch to stop Uchiha's rebellion, but Danzo, who had long coveted his Mangekyo Sharingan, disrupted the plan, and therefore depressed and cold. Lu Ren chuckled there. Squinting his eyes, he said sarcastically, but Shisui doesn't know that even if he uses distinguished heavenly gods on Fugaku, it can't affect Uchiha Fugaku's will. Uchiha Fugaku's pupil technique really surprised him. With this trump card, he will be fearless against Shimura Danzo and Uchiha Itachi in the future. Wait, isn't distinguished heavenly gods able to directly invade the opponent's brain without being noticed, and permanently and completely modify the opponent's will? Isn't it known as the strongest illusion? Wood Clone was full of puzzlement, a little surprised and inexplicable. No matter how powerful Fugaku's illusion is, it can't be stronger than Shisui's distinguished heavenly gods, right? You were right. Apart from the infinite Tsukuyomi that Ten Tails Jinchuriki can activate, distinguished heavenly gods can be said to be the highest level of illusion known so far. Lu Ren does not deny the power of the distinguished heavenly gods. Even without Fugaku's pupil technique, even I who have obtained the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, I dare not say that I can resist the distinguished heavenly gods 100%. However, Fugaku is different. The pupil art of his left eye is called Uga Yuhun. Uga Yuhun. Wood Clone raised an eyebrow. It can directly rebound any illusion that is not good for itself. Lu Ren said bluntly. The most important point is that no matter whether the host is prepared or not, once it is targeted by someone else's illusion, it can activate on its own to make it invalid. Although it has not been verified, I can be sure that distinguished heavenly gods will not work. As for the illusion of infinite Tsukuyomi level, whether or not it is possible to neutralize it in the same way is unknown. At least, Lu Ren is not sure yet. Not even ready to try. Tisk tisk, It's actually a pupil technique that directly reflects the illusion technique. It's unbelievable. Wood Clone marvels. I never expected that Uchiha Fugaku's pupil technique is so strange. He asked curiously. What about the pupil technique of the right eye? The pupil art of the right eye is Tsukuyomi. He shrugged and said, although Tsukuyomi is not like distinguished heavenly gods, who can forcibly modify the will of others, I have to admit that it is indeed a very unsolvable illusion. Tsukuyomi is a kind of pupil technique that can directly pull the enemy's spirit into the illusion space and dominate everything. In the world of Tsukuyomi, all factors including time, location, quality, etc., are all under the control of the caster, and the enemy will suffer great physical and mental pain in the illusion world. It can only be said that they are father and son brothers. Each has the Mangekyo Sharingan pupil technique. They all overlap to a greater or lesser extent. Both Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Fugaku's Mangekyo pupil technique have Tsukuyomi. Uchiha Sasuke and Uchiha Itachi's Mangekyo pupil technique both have Amaterasu. Especially with my current pupil power, if you use Tsukuyomi on others, even if it is an ordinary Mangekyo Sharingan, don't try to break it easily. If you use it properly, you can play with the target in the palm of your hand. Have you heard? The Uchiha clan, destroyed. What? Is this, for real? Although I don't like those arrogant guys very much, but the Uchiha clan is the well-deserved #1 family in Konoha. How could it suddenly disappear? It is said that the son of the Uchiha patriarch, Uchiha Itachi, did it. Even my own parents are not spared. That guy is a beast. I remember he was only 13 years old. Did he really do it alone? Isn't this too exaggerated? I heard that he is a real genius. He started Sharingan at the age of 8, and became the captain of Anbu at the age of 13. The next day, early in the morning, the leaves trembled. The news that the Uchiha clan was destroyed by Uchiha Itachi spread throughout the village. And it spread to all parts of the ninja world at an astonishing speed. It shocked countless people, and they couldn't believe it at all. But, somehow, Uchiha Itachi's resume was directly released. Graduated from ninja school at the age of 7, opened the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan at the age of 8, took the Chunin exam and passed it alone at the age of 10, became a Chunin, joined Anbu at the age of 11, and became the captain of Anbu at the age of 13. It's jaw-dropping, some can't believe it. Third Hokage was furious. I personally came to Konoha Hospital and visited the only survivor of the Uchiha family, Uchiha Sasuke, who is still unconscious. They returned to the Hokage building without stopping to hold an emergency meeting at the Jonin level. Publicly announced that Uchiha Itachi will be listed as Konoha's S-rank rebel. Wanted all over the country, regardless of life or death. But, anyway, the Uchiha clan is the #1 wealthy family in Konoha. The conflict with the high-level leaders headed by Third Hokage has become increasingly fierce, and almost anyone with a discerning eye can clearly see it. To be destroyed suddenly, it is impossible for those big and small families to have no idea. If it is said that this matter has nothing to do with the high-level officials, even if they are beaten to death, they will not believe it. Even on weekdays, the Hyuga clan, the Aburame clan, and even the Inoshika-cho clan who have always supported Third Hokage can't help feeling a bit chilly from head to toe. While being overwhelmed by the ruthlessness of the higher-ups. Inevitably, there will be panic and horror, and there is even a bit of sadness of the death of the rabbit and the fox. Uchiha is Konoha's #1 wealthy family. One of the creators of Konohagakure along with the Senju clan. Even if the relationship with high-level officials is tense on weekdays, but the prestige in the past, how prosperous is it? In previous battles, it can be said that he has made outstanding achievements. Say no and be gone. If so, which day will it be their turn? In order to appease the major families in the village who were panicked by the sudden destruction of the Uchiha clan, Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage, had no choice but to announce that he planned to recruit outstanding ninjas from the major families to form a new Konoha security force to be responsible for maintaining the security of the village. Will belong to the interests of Uchiha. Distributed to the major families who are a little restless. To appease people. Of course, they are definitely not the ones who really take the lead. But the Sarutobi, Shimura, Mito and other families. Is this real? Inside the Konoha hospital, Shizune was dumbfounded when he heard about Uchiha's downfall. Thinking of what Third Hokage said a few days ago, he looked at Tsunade, whose face changed, with some trepidation, Master Tsunade. Follow Tsunade to travel around the ninja world, traveling all over the world for so long. Her vision is naturally no better than the low-level ninjas and ignorant civilians in the village. How could a mere Uchiha Itachi wipe out a family as big as Uchiha before the village had time to respond and support it? And when he left the hospital, Lu Ren had already discovered it. The Uchiha clan was surrounded by a large number of ninjas in advance. At that time, Uchiha should not have been destroyed, otherwise Lu Ren must have sensed the disappearance of a large number of chakra. The whole family has been wiped out. The struggle for power is really terrifying. Chenny Lu Ren at the side pretended to be shocked, and muttered there. He seemed to be unaware, but was also shocked by such news. Snort. Tsunade clenched his fists. Frowning, his face was a little livid. Those guys are really getting more and more reckless. She thought that something happened to Uchiha last night. At most, Third Hokage and other high-level Konoha used thunderous means to suppress those Uchiha radicals who conspired to rebel and tried to seize power in advance. I never thought that all the Uchiha clan would be brutally killed. Only one Uchiha Sasuke is left. Although she has a high regard for herself, Uchiha who is defiant doesn't like it very much. But it's not enough to loathe and reject even those ordinary people. After all, they are also part of the village. Tsunade is not a saint, and she knows very well that ninjas are not play games. But she is more aware of the original intention of her grandfather first Hokage Senju Hashirama to create Konoha, and the idea he advocates is definitely not like this. She even believes that even if her second grandfather, who has always been tough and has no affection for Uchiha, is alive, he will never do that. Moreover, Tsunade is more aware that Uchiha has come this far, of course, has his own problems. But the bigger problem is that Konoha's top management deliberately suppressed it again and again, forcing Uchiha, who has always been proud, to bear it no longer. These are not your business, just do what you are supposed to do. Say something to the two disciples Shizune and Lu Ren. Tsunade, who was becoming more and more disgusted and impatient with Konoha's actions, remained expressionless and didn't say anything more. Take them to check on the survivor in Uchiha. There is a soft green light in the palm. Pressed on Uchiha Sasuke's head. Tsunade healed him, and said lightly, "This kid's spirit has suffered a major blow. But it's not a big problem, you should be able to wake up soon." Time flies. A week passed like this. As the number one wealthy family in Konoha, Uchiha, who was once famous in the ninja world, has too much influence in all aspects. The sensation caused by the genocide incident continued to spread to the ninja world. The 5 major countries were shaken, and all the ninja villages were shocked. No one expected that Uchiha, who used to be famous in the ninja world, would be wiped out like this. Moreover, it was made by a member of my own tribe, a 13-year-old kid. It's just unbelievable. As for Konoha, high-level officials such as Third Hokage naturally did not dare to relax their vigilance. A number of teams composed of elite ninjas from the villages have been successively sent to the border to inspect and guard the border, one by one to cut off the minions sent by the major ninja villages to break into the Land of Fire in an attempt to test the truth of Konoha. Trying to use a tough stance to deter other ninja villages who are about to move. Sending Konoha's strength to the major powers is not a signal that the loss of Uchiha will weaken it. Friction at the border continued. The situation in the ninja world is inevitably a little tense. There are also some people in the village who are in panic. Whether it is the civilians or the ninjas at the bottom, they are a little afraid of another war. After the cruel Third Ninja World War, the peace finally came to an end. And these, nothing to do with Lu Ren. Because, the fuel has already been exhausted, and Chenny now, who has a life hanging, relies on Chenny Lu Ren to transport the special chakra with that powerful vitality. After all, he couldn't stand it anymore and fell down. 3 days ago, I explained the aftermath to Lu Ren. The old man, who had no more regrets, left with a smile on his face. In a cemetery, Lu Ren in black, staring at Chia Nao's tombstone in front of him. Standing for a long time, silent. Chenny now left without regret. He didn't feel too sad in his heart, after all, people are mortal. If he fails to break the shackles of life in the future, he may also be unable to escape the natural law of birth, old age, sickness and death. It's just inevitable that there will be some loss and reluctance. In this world, there is one less relative who really cares about him. I do not know how long it has been. Lu Ren was in a gloomy mood. There he bowed deeply. Say goodbye to this grandmother. With the help of Nara Shirju, Yamanaka Haiyi and other elders. Having dealt with the funeral of the old man, he has nothing to worry about. I will follow the teacher Tsunade to leave Konoha. Lu Ren, sunset red and black, also holding a bouquet of white chrysanthemums, she walked over. Placed in front of the old man's tombstone. Sister Hong. Lu Ren looked at Shiha Hong. Are you leaving? Yuhi Hong asked. Well, Sister Tsunade has been waiting for a long time to take care of me. Lu Ren nodded. Shiha Hong, who had already treated him like a younger brother, touched Lu Ren's head, and said with some reluctance, then you have to take care of yourself. Being able to follow a famous teacher like Tsunade. While studying, travel around and broaden your horizons. This is undoubtedly a good thing. Well, I will come back often to visit. Lu Ren stared at Shirai Hong's beautiful face, and said softly, Grandma is here, during the holidays, I'm counting on you, Sister Hong. Don't worry, I will visit Granny Nasu regularly, and I will clean up the house for you, don't worry. Yuhi Hong said with a smile. Lu Ren nodded slightly and didn't say much. He believed that his sister Hong would arrange it. Lu Ren, brother. Far away, Tian Tian and Ino ran over. Each of them also held a bouquet of flowers in their hands. It's Lu Ren, your two little girlfriends. On the other hand, Yuha Hong was also full of smiles. She had seen the two of them more than once. He often comes to see Lu Ren, and the three of them often practice together. I can't see the thoughts of these two girls. Not intending to be a light bulb, she left with a smile, then I'll go first, Lu Ren. Sister Hong, see you later. Watching Shiha Hong leave. Looking at the two girls who came to Xiaopao. After dispelling the boredom in his heart, Lu Ren, who recovered a lot, smiled and asked, why are you two here? Let's take a look at Grandma now. Ino said. Tiantian asked there. Lu Ren, do you still have to go to the hospital today? Sister Tsunade said no need to go. Lu Ren said with a smile, you guys came just in time, I wanted to say goodbye to you one by one. Talking, he took out 2 scrolls from his pocket. They were handed to Ino and Tiantian respectively. This is a gift for you. A gift for Ino. He took the time to sum it up these days. About the cultivation experience of controlling chakra and chakra perception. It just happens to help Ino better master the secret arts of the Yamanaka family. And give it to Tiantian. It's his crafting these days. Use the remaining materials to create a flying puppet. In addition, there is an ordinary scroll in the storage scroll that seals the flying puppet. It records some experience about puppetry. This is what he summed up based on his own understanding after he specially asked Tsunade, who had fought against the experienced and powerful puppet masters in Sunagakur many times, and knew all aspects of the puppet masters well. Moreover, the future growth route has been planned for it. I believe that as long as you continue every day, you will practice in strict accordance with the training plan he made. It may not be impossible to become a truly outstanding puppeteer in the future. Are you leaving, brother Lu Ren? Are you leaving so soon? Hear Lu Ren's farewell words. The 2 little girls were not very surprised. Because I have heard the other party mention it a long time ago, I am mentally prepared. But at this time, he couldn't help looking at Lu Ren with longing, full of reluctance. Don't worry, I'm not coming back. 2 hands were placed on the heads of Ino and Tiantian respectively. Gently rubbing the hair of the 2 girls, Lu Ren comforted with a smile. Practice well, I will check when I come back. Still not found out. Konoha village. The Shimura family. In a dark room, Shimura Danzo, who was ordered to ground, looked down at the half-kneeling root organization member in front of him with a gloomy expression. Although 3rd Hokage removed his Hokage assistant position, he even asked him to hand over the root organization and put it under the jurisdiction of Anbu. But the members inside the root, most of them are loyalists cultivated by his brainwashing. Moreover, each person has a curse mark cast by him personally. Even if it belongs to Anbu on the surface, it is still firmly controlled by him in private and obeys his orders. The Uchiha clan was destroyed. However, Danzo is in a bad mood these days. Not only because of 3rd Hokage's suppression, but also because some people dared to pull out their teeth. Directly took the opportunity to seize a large number of Sharingan. The huge Uchiha family, the 3 Tomo Sharingan that fell into his hands, has only a mere 5 double. The rest are all double hook jade and single hook jade that are not of much value. How does this make him not angry? Because, activate a forbidden technique like Izanagi. You must have a Sharingan of more than 3 gems to be able to do it. That means, his spare eye. That's all. I'm very sorry, Master Danzo. The Jonin of the Root organization broke out in a cold sweat, and reported cautiously, so far, no trace of the mastermind behind the scenes has been found at all. It's just a bunch of trash. With the case in front of him falling apart, Danzo was furious. However, according to our repeated investigations on the corpses of the Uchiha family, it is speculated that at least 2 people took action that night and dug up those Sharingan. The rooted Jonin dared not look up. Without wiping off his cold sweat, he lowered his head and said, "But the Uchiha clan has already been blocked by our troops in advance, and we don't know how the other party got in. In addition, besides Uchiha Itachi, there should be another person to help him deal with the Uchiha tribe on the side of the guard." They were autopsied. It was found that there were 2 different methods on the bodies of those who had been dug out of the Sharingan. But it is not possible to confirm whether it is the 2 parties. So, Lord Danzo, this subordinate believes that the suspicion of 3rd Hokage or the other 2 elders cannot be ruled out. Inside the leaves, there are definitely not many people who can do this kind of thing without hiding the truth from the Root organization. It is impossible for outsiders to bypass Konoha's enchantment and sneak in quietly, unless they are spies who have been lurking in Konoha for many years. But the Root organization couldn't detect any abnormalities at all that night. Did Shisui's eyes really fall into the hands of that guy Hiruzen? He caressed his right eye, which was covered by a bandage. Think of Uchiha Shisui's missing left eye. For a while, Danzo was also a little surprised and doubted 3rd Hokage. His eyes were dark and full of fear. If that's the case, you've hidden it deep enough, Hiruzen. By the way, Master Danzo. The Root Jonin remembered something and reported to Danzo. Tsunade, one of the Sannin, seems to be leaving Konoha. Tsunade. Danzo didn't care, and snorted coldly. HMPH, she's just an indecisive woman. However, that Chenny Lu Ren does have an astonishing talent. Paused. The Gen Jonin's tone was full of disbelief, and he said in a deep voice, "According to our investigation, he has already mastered A-level medical ninjutsu such as healing jutsu at the age of 8, and even can do one-handed mudra. His performance in Konoha Hospital is amazing. He is known as the medical sacred hand, and his future achievements are limitless. In addition, we found that his chakra amount is amazing. In Konoha Hospital, even if he uses advanced medical ninjutsu to treat others continuously, no one has ever seen him with insufficient chakra. That brat, did he perfectly inherit Senju's bloodline?" Danzo stroked his right eye. His gaze flickered, hesitating whether to attack Chenny Lu Ren or not. The terrifying talent displayed by the opponent made him faintly see the shadow of his teacher 2nd Hokage Senju Tobirama. If such a genius can be received under his command, when it really grows up, it will definitely become his right-hand man. Although there are Hashirama cells, using the pupil power of Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan, it can quietly affect and interfere with the will of others in a short period of time, and it won't take long for it to recover. But what about trying to permanently and completely alter one's will with the real distinguished heavenly gods? That consumes too much pupil power. Because the power of wood style on his right arm is not comparable to that of the former 1st Hokage after all, and he is not a member of the Uchiha clan. After using a permanent distinguished heavenly gods once, it will take at least several years to fully recover. And, given Shisui's other eye, it's likely in 3rd Hokage's hands. This made him hesitate a bit. Secretly monitor Chenny Lu Ren, don't startle the snake. Danzo was prepared to wait. Let's further confirm whether Chenny Lu Ren's talent is worth wasting the precious distinguished heavenly gods. Anyway, with 3rd Hokage watching, he couldn't get his hands on the Nine Tails Jinchuriki in a short time. It would be a good choice if he could secretly harvest such a genius. Especially, if Chenny Lu Ren can really inherit Tsunade's mantle, its value will be even greater. Yes. Chapter 41. Lu Ren, hurry up. At the Konoha gate. Shizune is hugging Gufu. There, He waved to Lu Ren, who had changed into casual clothes and came over with a backpack. And by his side, follow the three girls Yuhihong, Tiantian and Ino. It's finally time to leave, the air outside is fresh. Tsunade stretched, showing off her beautiful curves. There was a sense of joy on the beautiful pretty face. If it wasn't for Lu Ren to leave the village with her without worries, she would not have stayed in Konoha for so long. Especially what happened to the Uchiha clan, which made her even more disgusted and disappointed with third Hokage and other high-level officials. This kid, he's very popular with women. Tsunade couldn't help but chuckle after glancing at Tiantian and Ino, two little girls with tears in his eyes, full of reluctance. However, if she was in the ninja school period, if you meet someone as handsome and strong as Lu Ren, you may be tempted as well. Not to mention those little girls. Then, I'll go first. Lu Ren comforted the two little girls, and said with a smile, remember to practice hard, I will check when I come back. As he spoke, he looked at Yuhihong who came to see him off. Stepped forward and hugged each other. Looking up at that handsome little face. Looking across the mountain with an astonishing arc, looking at Yuhihong's delicate face, Sister Hong, then the family will count on you. Well, don't worry. Feeling Lu Ren's attachment to her, Yuhihong felt a little happy and reluctant to part with her brother's head, and smiled, when you go out, remember not to be petty, and listen to Master Tsunade. Oh. Lu Ren smiled and nodded. Understood. Brother Lu Ren, have a good trip. Goodbye, Lu Ren, we will wait for your return. Goodbye. Lu Ren is carrying a backpack. Under the watchful eyes of Yuhihong, Ino and Tiantian. Leaving Konoha's gate, followed the footsteps of Tsunade and Shizune. Two big ones and one small, three figures headed for the distance. Is it over to say goodbye to my two little girlfriends? Tsunade was full of teasing. Not two little girlfriends, but three. Lu Ren didn't blush and was not out of breath, and said plausibly, Sister Hong is two. You boy. Tsunade frowned. Shizune on the side also looked at him speechlessly. Junior brother, boys can't be too careless. Porpoise, porpoise. The little red pig in her arms also screamed. That's because they don't have the ability. I'm destined to be the fifth Hokage. Oh no, the man who will become the king of the forest. Lu Ren folded his arms and said solemnly. He Chenny Lu Ren's women, naturally, the more the better. As a tentacle monster, there is no need to turn over the brand every day and wait in line. He is not afraid of all the 181s. Hokage. Then junior brother, you have to work hard. Shizune was a little surprised, and then said with a chuckle. She knew how exaggerated the talent of this little junior was, it was no worse than the former fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato. And, like fourth Hokage, also a disciple of Sannin. It might not be impossible to become the fifth Hokage. Hokage. Tsunade froze. He stopped. He stared blankly at the handsome and immature face. Faintly, there is a boy who is also young, with a Konoha forehead protector, who is full of confidence and shouts, Sister, I want to become a Hokage like Grandpa, and protect everyone. You boy, you are still far behind. She came back to herself. Looking at Lu Ren, who was only 8 years old, his eyes were a little dazed. But she quickly suppressed that strange emotion, and turned her head so that no one could see the sparkle in her eyes. At the same time, he flicked Lu Ren's head angrily. Although his mouth hit the disciple mercilessly. But Tsunade looked back at the Konoha gate that was almost out of sight, and thought to himself, if it was you, maybe Konoha would really be different. But she didn't know it at all. Someone who has an impure mind and is determined to be a rebellious disciple refers to a man who becomes the fifth Hokage. Not to be the fifth Hokage. Otherwise, I'm afraid he will be so angry that he will be picked up and beaten up. A bug. Lu Ren glanced at the depths of the forest, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. The right hand that was hugged in front of the chest and rested on the left arm made a seal quietly. Hee, just stay there and take a few laps slowly. Soon, the master and apprentice talked and laughed, and gradually drifted away. The figure disappeared, and the two rude ninjas who followed in secret and watched secretly. Back and forth, around several laps. Only then did he realize that his complexion changed drastically. They're going back and forth in circles all the time. The three figures who have been walking ahead without stopping seem to be fake. I couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Untie. The scene in front of me changed. The three figures in front of him disappeared. A member of the root organization had an ugly face. It's an illusion. When exactly? Another root member was also a little surprised. He didn't understand at all when the two of them were recruited. They've spotted us a long time ago. What a scary brat. Based on intelligence from previous root organizations. This Chenny Lu Ren is not only good at medical ninjutsu, but also Grandmaster Illusion. He once easily used illusion to bring down the root members sent by Master Danzo to test him. Do you want to continue? Since it has been discovered, there is no need. He hesitated for a moment. The leader made a decision, and said in a deep voice, otherwise, if the legendary Sanin gets mad, it will be bad. Go back and report to Master Danzo. Whoosh, whoosh. Two figures disappeared in the forest. However, they didn't know it at all, after the two of them left. A somewhat fuzzy face, vaguely similar to Lu Ren's profile, strangely appeared on the tree trunk very close to them. He watched them leave indifferently. Danzo, miles away, carrying a small backpack, holding the back of the head with both hands. Lu Ren followed Tsunade and Shizune unhurriedly, looking very leisurely, his eyes flashed. The corner of the mouth is raised, with playfulness, then play with you. If it was him before, even with a background like Tsunade, it is still unavoidable to be somewhat afraid of Danzo, the root, who is rooted under the big tree of Konoha and hidden in the dark depths. But now, with the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan activated, he has nothing to fear. Even if the current amount of chakra is not enough, it is impossible to directly open the full-body Susanoo. Just relying on that incomprehensible pupil technique. He was already invincible. Sent away. Tsunade, who was walking in front, asked calmly. She had just noticed that Lu Ren was making mudras with one hand, and she had already realized something. After all, this disciple has a powerful perception ability. If someone tries to follow, it's just asking for fun. Well, it's just two little bugs, don't be too simple. Lu Ren nodded and spread his hands. If it weren't for Konoha's people, it would be more than just a warning. Huh, is someone following you? Shizune, who was completely unaware, was a little dazed. Can't help looking at Lu Ren and Tsunade. What's going on? Next time there are people looking for death, you don't have to show mercy. Tsunade said directly. She doesn't like root at all. Especially Danzo, that dark guy, is extremely disgusting. However, your illusion skills really impress me. She looked at Lu Ren in surprise, and said with a smile, it seems that now should have left you a lot of good things. Lu Ren didn't hide anything, and said bluntly, well, she gave me all the illusion scrolls that my great-grandmother left to my grandmother. Great-grandmother. Shizune's pupils shrank sharply, and he couldn't believe it. Isn't that the #1 illusion expert of the Senju clan in the past, Senju Momoka-sama? She did not expect that the legendary master of illusion left behind an illusion scroll. Well, I have basically mastered those illusions. Lu Ren shrugged and smiled lightly. Unfortunately, there are only A-level illusions at the highest level, no S-level ones. Those illusions, have you mastered them all? Shizune froze immediately, looking at Lu Ren in shock. Even A-level illusion. See what the other party means. In the scrolls left by Senju Momoka, there are probably many high-level illusions recorded. But Lu Ren has it all. It's just unbelievable. Quote. Tsunade was also a little speechless. He stopped immediately and stared at Lu Ren, the monstrous disciple. She said quietly, I estimate that within 2 or 3 years at the most, you will be able to empty out all my decades of accumulation. Such exaggerated talent. If it weren't for the medical field, it would be special. To become a real grandmaster, you not only need to be proficient in those medical ninjutsu, but also need to combine a wealth of medical knowledge with clinical practice and slowly accumulate experience. I am afraid that I will soon have nothing to teach. Sister Tsunade, I'm still far behind. Lu Ren scratched his head. He didn't want to go back to Konoha so early. Unless he directly flipped the chessboard, 9 out of 10 he would be intriguing with those old things, and it was impossible to let him drink tea and pick up girls every day. Wouldn't it be nice to travel around the ninja world with a beauty like Tsunade? As for Yuhihong, Ino, Tiantian and the others, when did you miss them? Just sneak back for a few days and you'll be fine. In that case, Tsunade crossed his arms and asked, you should have mastered the strange power boxing I taught you a few days ago, right? Certainly. Lu Ren nodded with a smile. His right fist condenses chakra. The whole person is like a young cheetah, rushing out suddenly. Facing the forest ahead, a boulder several meters high punched hard. Boom! A boulder several meters high. In an instant, it fell apart and exploded with a bang. Smoke billowed. Amazing. Shizune couldn't help but marvel. Although she is Tsunade's disciple, and the other side never hides anything. But his own control of chakra could not be so fine, and he failed to learn the strange power boxing. Porpoise, porpoise, dolphin also echoed there. Although the Senju clan does not have a Sharingan, they can fight against the hostile Uchiha clan from ancient times without falling behind. Seeing this exaggerated scene, Tsunade was not too surprised, and said lightly, leaving aside the rare wood style of first Hokage, it is because our Senju family is born with the ability to with extremely fine chakra control. In this regard, whether it is the Uchiha family or the Uzumaki family, which is a distant relative of the Senju family, few people can compare. That's why our Senju clan can compete against the Uchiha clan, who can easily copy other people's ninjutsu, physical skills, and even grandmaster illusions with Sharingan's outstanding insight. So it turned out to be like this. Lu Ren, who was trying his hand at a small scale, was stunned. After Tsunade's explanation, he finally understood why his chakra control was superior to others. It turns out that the members of the Senju clan, in addition to having an amazing amount of chakra at the beginning, are born with extremely high chakra control. Of course, at your current age, Lu Ren, having that amazing amount of chakra and exaggerated chakra control is outstanding in the entire history of the Senju clan. Tsunade said with a smile. At least, she has never seen such an outstanding talent as Lu Ren. Not only has the rare wood style and the amazing amount of chakra, but also has a very high ninjutsu talent. It is almost equivalent to the combination of her grandfather Senju Hashirama and her second grandfather Senju Tobarama. Sister Tsunade, where are we going next? Lu Ren was not too complacent. You know, people of the Otsutsuki family are equivalent to standing at the top of the ninja world as soon as they are born. Not only does he have supercilious eyes, but even the legendary Rinnegan has it, and he is a blood follower. What is his strength on the table? At most, it has more potential. Go to the capital of the Land of Fire. When I was in Konoha a few days ago, I received requests from several nobles and ministers, asking me to go there to treat their family members. Tsunade shrugged and smiled slightly. Those guys spend a lot of money, and the rewards are quite generous. Trust those consultations. Enough for her to have a good time. These days, the consultation fee that the three of them received in Konoha Hospital. It wasn't enough for her to have a good time in Konoha's casino, but she owed a lot of debts instead. Ahem, junior brother, Mr. Tsunade owed a lot of debts before. In order to avoid being pursued by others, you still need to get some money to pay back part of it. Shizune said, hugging the porpoise. Porpoise, porpoise, do you want to fly directly there? Lu Ren nodded. He is not short of money. However, if there is a patient, I naturally don't mind going to the doctor. It's not that he is kind-hearted and the doctors are benevolent. Instead, it requires a lot of clinical practice and accumulation of experience. For him, those patients are guinea pigs who come to him to practice. This will help him improve his medical skills, broaden his horizons, and facilitate the development of forbidden technique in the future. Second Hokage Senju Tobarama was able to develop a series of ninjutsu and forbidden technique from scratch. Even space-time ninjutsu such as Flying Thunder God technique and forbidden techniques such as Impure World Reincarnation have been created. Thinking about Lu Ren, who is unwilling to be ordinary, he doesn't feel that he is inferior to him. Not to mention the fact that he has the power of the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the wood-style enhanced version of Sensen Fruit, and even mastered the perfect Sage mode, so that he will not underestimate the role of those ninjutsu and forbidden technique. The endless ninjutsu and secret techniques of the Uchiha clan. Undoubtedly a great treasure. Wait until he has fully digested them. It is bound to greatly enhance and enrich one's vision and background. Lay a solid foundation for him to create a new ninjutsu and forbidden technique in the future. Fly over. Tsunade raised an eyebrow, looking at Lu Ren in surprise. And Shizune was even more stunned, looking at Lu Ren in disbelief. Junior brother, can you fly? Wood-style helicopter. Lu Ren raised his right hand and pointed in front of him. In the surprised eyes of Tsunade and Shizune, a sapling grew out of the ground at a speed visible to the naked eye. The green leaves are green and the colorful flowers are blooming there. It turned into an oval-shaped car shell. Moreover, its top and tail each have a bunch of huge sunflowers. It looks like a simple Lu Ren helicopter. This is. Both Tsunade and Shizune's eyes widened. I saw that the interior space was extremely empty, far better than ordinary carriages. It's almost like a mobile house. It can completely accommodate 3 people. Moreover, it is not a problem to lie and roll around in it. No matter how powerful the ability is, it depends on how it is used. In the past few years, it's not like I haven't done anything. Lu Ren smiled and said, although wood style cannot be used blatantly in the village, I can completely make a miniature version of the model under the control of my chakra. I have studied it more than once in private. Come in. Lu Ren opened the hatch. Let Tsunade and Shizune, who were a little surprised and inexplicable, sit in. Tsunade sat inside and leaned on the seat. Then I have to open my eyes. Not to mention, it's really comfortable, and you don't have to be exposed to the wind and the sun. Let her look forward to it. Junior brother, can this really fly? He looked at Lu Ren, who closed the hatch and sat in. Looking at the strange vehicle, Shizune was a little curious. Sister Tsunade, Sister Shizune, just wait and see. Lu Ren patted his chest. He said, injecting chakra directly into the helicopter, you are responsible for guiding the way, and I will do the rest. Woo hoo hoo. In a split second, the windmill-like sunflower on the top of the helicopter, spinning violently. There was a violent wind pressure. In Shizune and Tsunade's incredulous eyes, the bodies of the 2 trembled, and they only felt their bodies sink slightly. The entire helicopter rose from the ground. In a blink of an eye, it was already more than 10 meters above the ground, and it was still rising. Unbelievable, it really flew. From the open window, Shizune was stunned, looking at the ground farther and farther below. Even the well-informed Tsunade couldn't help but marvel, you kid is really unexpected. Back then, first Hokage pacified the troubled times and was famous in the ninja world. Although its power is unmatched, it can be said to be unstoppable. Even the wood-style 4-pillar house technique, which can create a log house out of thin air, and the upgraded wood-style 4-pillar house technique have been developed. But no such flying technique has been developed. Unexpectedly, Lu Ren used such a simple principle. With the help of wood style, a vehicle that can directly carry people to fly was produced. It's so high. Shizune asked helplessly, if that's the case, won't the movement be too loud? Don't worry, I have a solution. Secret technique, camouflage technique. Lu Ren chuckled and once again made a seal with one hand. Originally presented in oak color, Lu Ren brand helicopter. Directly at the speed visible to the naked eye, it turned into the same color as the sky. If you don't look carefully, you can't see it at all. And although the helicopter blew a strong wind pressure, because the sunflowers acted as propellers, there was no such loud roar as the machine. Fly higher and be completely unnoticed. Mystic camouflage technique. This is a low-level ninjutsu learned from the collection of the Uchiha clan. Simple and practical. Then, let's go. Under the guidance of Tsunade. Before he knew it, Lu Ren controlled the helicopter that was hundreds of meters above the ground and merged with the sky. The sunflower flower at the tail also started to turn, gushing out a strong air current. Pushing the Lu Ren brand helicopter, carrying the 3 of them galloping away towards the distance. Woo hoo hoo. The wind howled. Huge sunflowers are constantly turning. Bursts of astonishing wind pressure quickly pushed the Lu Ren helicopter to fly straight into the distance. It's really a convenient technique. Looking at the clouds that continued to fly by, Tsunade stared deeply at Lu Ren, who was only 8 years old, but was unbelievably enchanting. As if he had made a decision, he suddenly said to the disciple, speaking of which, I haven't given you a meeting gift yet, have I? A meeting ceremony. Lu Ren was taken aback. I couldn't help but smiled and said, that's not necessary, I am already very satisfied to be your disciple, Sister Tsunade, and learn medical ninjutsu from you. He really didn't care about the greeting ceremony. Even if Tsunade gave himself the crystal necklace embodying first Hokage wood-style chakra around his neck. For Lu Ren, it doesn't have much effect. He is the ability user of Logia Sensen fruit. If you really want to do it, you may not be able to condense a similar crystal with Wood Style's chakra. Of course, if it's those two heavy pendants, it's a different matter. Watching Tsunade with eyes closed. He bit his own finger, and quickly formed seals there. Master Tsunade, are you going to? Shizune on the side shrank his eyes, and couldn't help but guess. Summoning technique. Tsunade, who had to close his eyes to complete the seal due to fear of blood, put his hands on the ground. In the surprised eyes of Lu Ren and Shizune. On the ground, a large area of summoning spells spread out. Boom! The smoke filled the air. A water blue slug that is half the height of a person. Appear there. Is this the summoning technique? Lu Ren's eyes were curious and full of interest. With this technique, Summoningmon is directly summoned from far away. It's really incredible. Master Huobu, hello. Master Tsunade, I will treat you. Shizune, who reacted, greeted the other party politely. He rushed forward to treat Tsunade, who had a phobia, and wiped the bloodline away. As a disciple of Tsunade, Shizune naturally knows the name of its summoning beast. Katsuyu is its race, and the living slug is its real name. It is a split body of Katsuyu Rishi, the founder of the Wet Bone Forest. Rumor has it that the real Katsuyu Rishi has an unbelievably large body. Even Tsunade-sama tried his best, but he couldn't directly summon 1/10 of his body. Master Tsunade, and Shizune, long time no see. I saw Katsuyu whispering there. Live, he is the disciple Chenny Lu Ren I just accepted, and I want him to sign the summoning scroll of Shishibone Forest. Tsunade said directly to Katsuyu. Master Tsunade, is your new disciple? Huobu looked at Lu Ren in surprise. Master Huobu, Lu Ren is a descendant of Senju, and has Master Hashirama's wood style. Shizune added there. Wood style from first Hokage. It's amazing. Katsuyu was a little shocked. Unexpectedly, there was only an 8 or 9-year-old child in front of him. Awakened wood style of first Hokage. Is this your summoning beast, Sister Tsunade? Lu Ren looked at the live slug. He understood what Tsunade meant. Although I prefer the mighty Haki summoning beast, I didn't refuse the kindness of this cheap teacher. Anyway, there is no regulation, only one type of summoning contract can be signed. As the holy land of the 3 summoning beasts in the ninja world. Live slug's excellent healing ability and combat ability. Not bad. Moreover, he also wants to see him in the future. What is so special about Shigulin's immortal art? After all, his sage mode was discovered by himself, and it is different from the fairy arts of the 3 holy places. Maybe it can be used as a reference. It's even worse to refuse in person. Since it is your request, Master Tsunade, we will naturally not refuse. Talking. A living slug with a height of half a person, its abdomen wriggling. A wet scroll was spat out by it, rolled in front of Lu Ren and spread it out there. On it, there is a large list of names, which is dazzling. The last one is Tsunade's name. Master Chenny Lu Ren, please write your name on it and press your thumbprint. Katsuyu said to Lu Ren. Sister Tsunade, this, don't you want to? Tsunade asked with a smile. Although Katsuyu's appearance is not that amazing, whether it is healing ability or combat ability, he is outstanding among summoning beasts. There was one thing she didn't say. The real reason for wanting Lu Ren to sign. It is a wet bone forest as famous as the 2 holy places of Mount Myoboku and Ryachi Cave. It has a long tradition of immortal arts. Even she has not been able to master the fairy art of the wet bone forest. But she believes that Lu Ren will be able to do it in the future. No, I want to sign, then please close your eyes, Sister Tsunade. Lu Ren laughed. Without a mother-in-law, he decisively bit his finger. On the summoning contract, I wrote my name and left my fingerprints. In a blink of an eye, wait until he dries bloodline. That wound has disappeared. Then please give me more advice, Master Huobu. Seeing Lu Ren, the new contractor, was so humble and polite. Live Slug was very happy. Mr. Lu Ren, hello. Turning his head away early in the morning to avoid seeing the bloody Tsunade, he turned his head when Shizune reminded him. She bluntly said, Live, I called you out, not just to make Lu Ren sign a contract. And that special secret art scroll that was placed with you before. Understood, Master Tsunade. Live Slug nodded. The abdomen squirmed again. Spit out a half-meter-high scroll. This is. Lu Ren was inexplicably shocked. Well, this is given to me by my grandfather before his death. It records the wood-style ninjutsu he created in his life. Tsunade took the scroll. There are some memories on the face, and the eyes are complicated. The one left in Konoha is just a backup, mine is the original version, and it is more comprehensive. But it's a pity that neither I nor the rest of the Senju clan can successfully awaken Wood-style's blood succession boundary. Tsunade's words. It shocked Lu Ren a little. After a long time, third Hokage and Wood-style ninjutsu in the hands of Shimura Danzo are incomplete. Fortunately, he was still thinking about whether to get the Wood-style ninjutsu developed by first Hokage from Danzo first. Now, I'll leave it to you, Lu Ren. Tsunade looked serious, and handed the half-meter-high scroll to Lu Ren. This. Lu Ren stared blankly at Tsunade. Although he guessed that Tsunade might have a scroll related to Wood-style ninjutsu in his hand. However, it stands to reason that it is impossible to give it to myself so quickly. After all, he has only just become a teacher. It stands to reason that Tsunade is not the kind of irrational person. It will take at least 2 or 3 years for his disciple to fully gain the other party's real approval, right? Little devil, don't give up on your dreams. Tsunade stared straight at Lu Ren, who was a little stunned, and patted Lu Ren's handsome face. With boundless expectations, he smiled and said, "Sister, I am waiting. I will return to the village in the future to attend your 5th Hokage enthronement ceremony. Is your word sure to be Hokage's, together with Naoki's dream?" Lu Ren, Master Tsunade. Shizune on the side was full of surprise. Immediately, a smile of expectation appeared. Junior brother Lu Ren, you have to work hard. Lu Ren, Tsunade's ardent expectation and full trust. It made him feel that Tsunade and Shizune seemed to have misunderstood something. Become a Hokage. What he said at the beginning was that he wanted to be the man of the 5th Hokage. It's really fast. In less than half a day, we arrived at the capital of the Fire Kingdom. Half a day later, outside the capital of the Kingdom of Fire. In a hidden forest, huge sunflowers that cannot be easily discerned with the naked eye are constantly turning. The simple Lu Ren helicopter descended slowly and landed in a clearing. The two figures jumped onto a big tree, looking at the bustling city in front of them. Both Tsunade and Shizune couldn't help but feel a little inexplicable. It was supposed to be a 3-day journey at least. Unexpectedly, it arrived so soon. This thing is very convenient, but our purpose is not only to cure people's diseases, but also to cultivate and precipitate. Tsunade pondered for a moment, and said directly to Lu Ren, "Don't use it lightly in the future." Sister Tsunade, you are right, I understand. Lu Ren nodded suddenly. They are mostly traveling. If you are not in a hurry, there is really no need. Anyway, with wood style, a house can be built anytime, anywhere, without having to sleep in the open. That's enough. After all, strictly speaking, their journey is without a specific destination. Treating people and getting paid is just incidental. Leading the team is Princess Konoha, Tsunade-ji, one of the dignified Sanin, who are bold and don't rush to rush. There is plenty of time. And a boring, tedious journey. It is also a process of spiritual practice. Along the way, he was able to spare time to practice and accept the teaching and guidance of the famous teacher Tsunade. It's good that you can understand. Tsunade nodded in satisfaction. I have to admit that this student Lu Ren is very smart and understands everything. She doesn't need to worry about it at all. Then, we are expected to stay in the capital for a few days, and we will find a hotel to stay in first. Tsunade directly made a decision, and said with a smile, then Shizune will take Lu Ren for a walk around the city. Here or something, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Wait, Sister Tsunade, what about you? Lu Ren raised his little hand there. Looking at Tsunade suspiciously. Shouldn't you be going to the casino again? Adults, children don't care. Seeing being pierced by Lu Ren. Rao Tsunade couldn't help but blushed. Angrily, he flicked Lu Ren's forehead with his fingers. Okay, I don't care. Lu Ren shrugged while covering his blushing forehead. Just in time, I want to study the ninjutsu scroll you gave me. If it wasn't for him suppressing his own elemental ability. Even if Tsunade hit him with a strange punch, he wouldn't even blink. Not to mention his forehead was flushed red. But there is one thing to say. Tsunade's luck, he really can't compliment it. These days in Konoha, he was full of curiosity at the beginning, and even followed him into the casino. I want to see if this Princess Konoha is really as exaggerated as in the legend. Only then did I realize that someone really had such bad luck. As the saying goes, 9 out of 10 bets lose. No matter how unlucky the average person is, if they play 10 or 8 hands, they may win 1 or 2. But she is different, she is a veritable loser out of 10 bets. From slot machines, dice, poker and more. Anyway, Lu Ren never saw her win. The difference in gambling luck is really rare in the ninja world. It made him unable to complain. Cannot bear to look. It is worthy of being the legendary fat sheep. No wonder the bosses of those casinos were so excited when they saw her coming. Not because of its stunning figure and beauty. Instead, someone sent them money. Wait, Master Tsunade, where do we have money? With a bitter face, Shizune took out his shriveled wallet and checked it. The deposit for 2 rooms, and the meal money for 3 people, it's basically gone. Although treating those aristocratic lords, the rewards must be indispensable. But it's impossible to ask others for the consultation fee in advance without the time to cure the disease, right? Then save some money, just open a room, and Lu Ren can sleep with us. Knocking Shizune on the head, Tsunade said angrily. An 8-year-old kid, what's the matter? Even if that's the case, it's not enough, Master Tsunade, you can gamble. Shizune covered his head, aggrieved. Porpoise, porpoise. The porcupine on the side shook his head and called out. As for the money, I still have some here. Lu Ren just took out his wallet. You're a child, it's not safe to carry so much money with you, sister, I'll just keep it for you. Eyes lit up. Tsunade, with quick eyes and quick hands, grabbed Lu Ren's wallet in one go. Under Lu Ren's somewhat speechless eyes, he took out a few pocket money, and handed them to him, and said with a smile, that's the decision. Tsunade is confident. Her teacher is afraid that the disciple is young and ignorant and spends money to keep it for him, so it's okay to borrow it temporarily, right? It's not that I haven't paid it back. Big deal, wait a while and kill the quartet, and then return the money to the other party after winning. Then let you keep it. Lu Ren shook his head helplessly. This amount of money should be paid for tuition. Sure enough, a woman can't let her be idle, she has to find something to do for her. 5th Hokage, maybe he can take office early. Or, should she grow her stomach earlier and concentrate on raising the children at home? Although it is said that he is not short of money at all, it is not enough for Tsunade to gamble. It's impossible to cheat your own money. Anyway, at most he can guarantee that everyone can eat and drink well. For the flashing thought in Lu Ren's heart. Tsunade on the side seemed to sense it, and sneezed several times in a row inexplicably. She rubbed her nose and couldn't help mumbling, strange, I don't have a cold. Not long. The 3 entered the capital. There are people coming and going on the street, there is a lot of traffic, and it is very lively. All kinds of shops and street vendors are dazzling. It is indeed worthy of being the capital of the Fire Nation. No matter in terms of scale or prosperity, it is not comparable to Konoha. After all, although Konohagakure is the head of the 5 major ninja villages, it has a great reputation and receives many various task entrustments every day. However, relying solely on the commission of daily mission rewards and the little tax in the village is far from enough to support a ninja army of at least tens of thousands. Even if it's not a time of war, financial support also needs to be allocated by the Fire Country daimyo. This is also one of the methods used by the big names of various countries to control those ninja villages. For example, the daimyo of the Land of the Wind, after Sunagakure was defeated in the Third Ninja World War, has been reducing Sunagakure's funding in various names. Forcing Sunagakure's 4th Kazekage Luasha, Dangdang Kazekage spent a lot of time and energy, constantly extracting placer gold from the desert and selling it, struggling to maintain the village's finances. Boss, come to 2 rooms. Etc. Inside a hotel. Don't wait for Lu Ren to finish speaking. Shizune, who was on the side, said directly, sorry, 1 room is enough. On the other hand, Tsunade stood there with his chest folded, showing no objection. It's not that she doesn't understand the difficulties of Shizune, the Minister of Finance. Save some money and save some money. Anyway, Lu Ren is just a kid who hasn't grown up yet. There is nothing to be ashamed of. Quote. Lu Ren. This is arranged by you. Shizune, take Lu Ren for a stroll. Got a room at the hotel. Just put the luggage back in the room. Tsunade couldn't hold back anymore, and directly became the hands-off shopkeeper. Wait, Master Tsunade. Shizune couldn't stop it at all. I saw Tsunade running away excitedly with the money stolen from Lu Ren. As for the casino in the capital city of the country of fire, she has been here countless times over the years, so she is naturally familiar with it. Senior sister Shizune, you should follow up and have a look. Lu Ren was a little helpless. Sister Tsunade's hemophobia is too troublesome. It wasn't just Shizune who was worried. To be honest, even he was a little worried about Tsunade. After all, it is too worrying to have the weakness of blood phobia. Even if it is clear that Tsunade, as one of the Sannin, is powerful, even a well-trained Jonin cannot withstand a blow of her terrifying strange power and can deal with most emergencies. But still can't help but worry about accidents. But, Lu Ren, you. Shizune, who was holding the porpoise, hesitated. Because, although Lu Ren has a calm and precocious personality, he is only 8 years old. Aren't you clear about my strength? Lu Ren chuckled and said, even if you are senior sister, you are no match for me. Moreover, my innate perception ability is not a vegetarian, I can find you anytime. Then Lu Ren, you have to be careful. I heard Lu Ren say that. Shizune couldn't help but feel relieved, and said to him, if you need anything, remember to come and find us. Well, don't worry, Lu Ren smiled. Anyway, he still has to stay in the capital of the Kingdom of Fire for a few days. He was not impatient to go out for a walk. After all, he has experienced even the more prosperous 21st century. Although the two have different meanings, the unique local conditions and customs of the ninja world are different from modern cities. But in contrast, right now he wants to study the wood-style scroll left by first Hokage. After all, I have to say that some high-level wood-style ninjutsu are indeed unique. As the ability user of Logia Sensen Fruit, although he can learn from and imitate 7788. But it is likely to be just a form. It may not really have the power of the original. Swipe, brush, wait for Shizune to leave. Make sure no one is watching. A huge scroll, spread out there. Lu Ren directly opened the Sharingan. With an unforgettable memory, use the ninjutsu recorded above. Write them down one by one. Wood-style wood clone, wood-style wood ingot wall, wood-style silent bound kill. Lu Ren quickly memorized ninjutsu one after another that can only be used with wood style, a rare and unique blood succession limit. Unconsciously, 2 hours passed like this. Almost, it's time to give it a try. Lu Ren stretched himself, stretching his muscles and bones. That Scarlet 3 Tomo Sharingan instantly turned into a dazzling pattern. Dashway Mochi, Netherworld space, in a split second. As if Lu Ren did nothing. Directly at a speed visible to the naked eye, it disappeared strangely in place. Netherworld. Rumor has it that this is the world where the gods live. This is a parallel space with dark tones and eternal silence. From here, you can directly see the outside, and the bustling towns around are in a three-dimensional shape, which can be seen at a glance, and even every plant and tree can be seen in detail. The disappearing figure of Lu Ren appeared there strangely. And the standing position is still in the hotel. This means, alone in the underworld, it is equivalent to giving Lu Ren a blind eye. Although he himself can't do direct 360-degree surveillance without dead ends. But somehow it's more exaggerated than white eyes. Looking at the translucent hotel that can be seen directly through, as well as the surrounding streets and buildings, Lu Ren chuckled lightly. I have to say, there is no better place to practice ninjutsu than here. Dashway Muchi. It is the pupil technique conceived by his two eyes together. The ability of his left eye can open the netherworld and be in it. You can make part or even the whole of yourself hollow, and you can also move directly in the netherworld. And the ability of his right eye can directly affect the outside world from the parallel space of netherworld, launching attacks invisible to the naked eye. Moreover, unless you have pupil skills such as Sharingan and white eyes, you cannot see them. Even those perception ninjas with excellent perception ability. He can only perceive his chakra. It can be said that it is quite an unsolvable bug ability. The point is, when you are in the netherworld, he is equivalent to having the clairvoyance ability of Bayan, who can directly see through all obstacles. Of course, it's not without limitations. Over the past few days, Lu Ren has verified more than once to confirm the coverage of the parallel space of Netherworld. Probably centered on himself, within a radius of 200 meters. And more importantly, it can change continuously as the host moves, rather than being static. This kind of ability is equivalent to peeping, but it's a first-class ability. In a room dozens of meters away, 2 young men and women were burning firewood, doing nothing in broad daylight. The corner of Lu Ren's mouth twitched involuntarily. Shaking his head, he ignored it. Wood-style birth of the tree realm. Staring ahead, Lu Ren's eyes were serious. There is no meaning of ceiling at all. It was just a low drink, and the outstretched right hand shook violently. Swipe, brush, in a split second, in the netherworld space. A large area of the ground was torn apart, and a large number of saplings gushed out directly. Growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a large number of towering giant trees. Boom, they seemed to have a sense of life, wanting to destroy and devour all obstacles. Crazy rolling to all directions. But at the same time, the hotel and surrounding buildings that were supposed to be submerged by the countless towering giant trees and destroyed in an instant were not affected at all. Even the pedestrians on the street didn't panic, they were still talking and laughing there. No abnormality was noticed. Wood-style wooden ingot wall. Wood-style tree-bound forever burial. Wood-style wood dragon technique. Wood-style multiple wood clone technique. Boom, boom. ... In the netherworld space, one wood-style ninjutsu after another. It was easily mastered by Lu Ren and used directly. The price is the amount of chakra, which consumes 7 or 88. In the final analysis, he is only an 8-year-old kid, and his body is far from fully grown. This amount of chakra is quite amazing for most ninjas. Although after staying in the netherworld for 10 minutes, you need to return to the real space once before you can enter again. But with Lu Ren's powerful pupil power, without really using Dashwei Mochi to attack the target, this consumption is naturally not a problem. Wood-style ninjutsu, there is basically no problem. The rest, the worst is chakra. Looking at the densely packed trees that filled the netherworld space, Lu Ren, who was sweating a little, couldn't help but let out a long breath, shaking the sweat off his head. Next, let's clean up a little. Wood-style wood clone. One wood clone after another. Emerging directly from Lu Ren's body, there are a total of 20. Although, Ghost World will change with the movement of his host. And every time you enter the netherworld, this parallel space will be directly refreshed in an all-round way, so that it will not be affected by these trees. But he is still going to use the last chakra to clean up the netherworld space once and for all. Every 5 people, responsible for one direction, use 5 consecutive bombs. Following the order of Lu Ren, the main body. The 20 wood clones are directly divided into 4 groups, facing the 4 directions of east, west, north, south, respectively. They all bear different seals on one hand. Gestures change rapidly. These days, naturally, he was not idle in Konoha. Ninjutsu borrowed from the Uchiha clan. He uses the parallel space of Netherworld as a training ground, and he has already mastered a considerable part of it. Wind, thunder, water, fire, earth, and the ninjutsu of the 5 escapes have basically mastered a lot. There is no shortage of 5 escape ninjutsu above a level. Fire-style Fire Dragon Ball technique. Water-style Water Dragon Bomb technique. Earth-style Earth Dragon Bullet. ... Wood clone accumulates chakra. Chi faced the densely packed forest. Coincidentally, he suddenly vomited. Who? Earth Dragon Bomb, Water Dragon Bomb, Fire Dragon Bomb, Wind Dragon Bomb, Thunder Dragon Bomb. 5 ninjutsu with different attributes were suddenly intertwined to form a brand new jutsu. It turned into a dazzling huge storm, triggering an extremely violent big explosion. Swept to all directions. 5 escape Dalian bullet technique. Boom. Huge swings. It directly swept through the netherworld space. A large number of trees were destroyed as if destroyed. Turned into a sky full of sawdust flying with the wind. The smoke and dust billowed, and the scene was in a mess. Cut. The power is average. Some tired Lu Ren shrugged. Reclaimed those wood clones' chakra directly. The figure disappeared into the netherworld space. If third Hokage is here, I'm afraid I can't wait to strangle this pretending brat to death. With all the attributes of chakra, he has always been proud of being able to perform the 5-shot technique together with Shadow Clone. He used to show off Kamui on the battlefield, making countless ninjas frightened, and is known as the best in the ninja world. But in the eyes of Chenny Luren, the power is just so-so. What's more exasperating, Chenny Lu Ren has really mastered the 5 escapes Dalian Ball technique. Moreover, 20 wood clone were directly divided into 4 groups to display. Such an age, such an amount of chakra, and that subtle chakra mastery. Simply jaw-dropping. It was a sudden mess. The amount of chakra is still too small, not to mention first Hokage, even second generation can't compare. Lu Ren was sweating profusely, and sat there panting. In the training just now, he almost consumed more than 90% of chakra. Go out and add it. Talking, Lu Ren dived into the ground at a speed visible to the naked eye and disappeared into the hotel. It is not impossible for him to rely on photosynthesis to replenish his physical strength. But that would be too slow for him. Not that there isn't a faster way. A moment's work, via the Mayfly technique obtained from White Zetsu. Lu Ren is integrated with the earth, borrowing the network of organic matter such as the roots of plants and underground water flows that exist in the ground. Soon, they came to the depths of the forest, which was more than 10 miles away from the capital. Roar, a giant bear is astonishing. But there is no time to pounce on it in the future. The sharp vines ruthlessly pierced through the body. G-U-B-U. The giant bear howled, and that vine seems to have life. It kept surging there, as if it was really swallowing. The whole giant bear shriveled up at an astonishing speed. The fat animal body became skinny. People can't help but be dumbfounded. A little creepy. It's still a little bit worse. The green vines shrink back. It turned into an ordinary arm. Lu Ren cut off a few bear paws that were left on purpose, and sealed them with storage scrolls. After all, these are rare and delicious ingredients. Relying on its own powerful perception ability, directly locked other nearby beasts. Roar. After a few minutes, another tiger fell down and howled. In the blink of an eye, he changed from majestic to emaciated, and lost his vitality directly. The tiger skin was completely stripped off by Lu Ren without any effort. By the way, there's also the tiger penis, a great tonic that shouldn't be wasted. Lu Ren, who was about to leave just now, remembered something. Turning around again, pawing and pulling on the tiger mummy. Afternoon, walked around the capital of the Land of Fire. I got a taste of the different customs of the ninja village in the Fire Country in Konoha, a ninja village. Practice physical skills again. Return to Lu Ren at the hotel. See, Tsunade and Shizune did not come back. He has sufficient physical strength, and chakra has fully recovered, so he has no intention of resting. Instead, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is reopened. Immediately activated the pupil art Dashue Muchi. Entered the netherworld space. Wood clone technique. Lu Ren's body. 2 similar wood carvings emerged. At a speed visible to the naked eye, it turned into 2 lifelike wood clone. His eyes were burning, and his fighting spirit was high. Without hesitation, he said to his own wood clone, which was allocated 1/3 of chakra, which is almost equivalent to the main body, "From now on, you all attack me with all your strength, no mercy." He is not in a hurry to eat into a big fat man. Those ninjutsu can be done slowly, don't worry too much. With his talent, I believe he will be able to master all of them in a short time. But one's own physical skills can't be left behind either. He wants to be well-rounded. Especially remember, in the original trajectory. After Might Guy opens 8 inner gates formation. That punch and kick is so powerful that even the space is distorted. It really shocked him and made him fascinated. The power of physique cannot be ignored. After all, although Might Guy relied on risking his life, opening the 8 inner gates formation with the determination to die, and completely burning his own vitality and blood, he could achieve that level in exchange for that short-lived terrifying power. But it doesn't mean that. As long as his own physique and blood are strong enough, he can train his physical skills to ultimate. Even if the forbidden technique such as 8 inner gates is not activated, it may not be impossible to achieve that level. And with the power of perfect yang escape, extremely strong vitality, extremely amazing resilience, and a physique far beyond ordinary people, he just has the possibility to realize all these. Lu Ren firmly believes that as long as he perseveres in exercising his body and exercising himself, in the future, it may not be impossible to achieve normal conditions, with physical skills comparable to or even surpassing Might Guy 8 Gate fully opened. Of course, ordinary physical training cannot be relaxed, and it takes a long time to see hard work. Only fierce battles are the best catalyst for sharpening physical skills. If you don't have an opponent, create an opponent for yourself. If you can only use physical skills, a wood clone allocated half of his chakra may not be comparable to the main body. But the 2 wood clones each allocated a third of him. 1 plus 1 is obviously far greater than 2. In terms of physical skills alone, it is enough to crush the body and give him the greatest pressure. After all, he is the one who really understands himself, the thinking and moves of wood clone and the ontology. Not to say that they are 100% exactly the same, but they are not bad. Only by pushing yourself into a desperate situation, to be able to break through one's own limits under extreme pressure, really get sublimated, then offend you, the main body. Hit yourself, it's hard enough. The 2 wood clones were complaining there, but decisively opened Sharingan, and his men were completely merciless. Both rushed up directly. No, 1 wood clone rushed to it first. Accumulated chakra's strange power fist. It hit the main body hard, making Lu Ren's hairs stand on end. With Sharingan's super dynamic vision, Lu Ren quickly predicted wood clone's swift movements and reacted quickly. He jerked his head away. At the same time, the knee jerked up, blocked the kick from wood clone number 2. In the next moment, a fierce elbow hit number 1 wood clone hard. But how could the 2 wood clones who also had Sharingan turned on, and whose physique was infinitely close to the main body, be suppressed so easily? Boom. No. 1 wood clone blocked Lu Ren's elbow. A right uppercut directly hit Lu Ren's abdomen because he had to guard against the number 2 wood clone and couldn't dodge it. Make his eyes protrude. He vomited blood, and flew out like a cannonball. Bang. The crossed hands narrowly blocked the attacking right leg. However, his arms were numb from the shock of the powerful strange force. Even if it is to remove the terrifying force from the 2 wood clone blasts as much as possible. His whole body was still on the ground, and he dragged for more than 10 meters. Sure enough, I'm still too far away. A face full of fortitude and stubbornness. With amazing healing ability. Like a normal person, Lu Ren, who managed to stabilize his figure, did not hesitate, and ran out again. Come again. Bang, bang. This level is not enough. Come again. Bang bang, bang bang. Ah 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 ah. In the netherworld space, the sound of fighting and screaming continued. Terrible. No equal fight. It left Lu Ren with a bruised nose and a swollen face. Falling down again and again, but struggling to get up again and again. Before he knew it, he was already covered in blood, and he had no intention of stopping at all. Gritting his teeth, he continued to fight with his 2 wood clones. In order to sharpen oneself to the greatest extent, he has no rules. Even Sharingan and Wailaquan are allowed to be used. Relying on the monster-like recovery power, as well as his own medical ninjutsu that has been rising day by day after Tsunade. He didn't worry about mortally wounding himself at all. Even actively suppress the elementalization of Logia Sensen fruit. The purpose is to exercise one's basic physical skills and to improve one's combat effectiveness. Maybe, he just needs to hang around with Tsunade now, and grow up comfortably and step by step. Even the 2 future Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke may not be able to surpass him directly. But in Lu Ren's eyes, this is far from enough. His enemy has never been Hokage, the leader of the root, or shall organize these people. Rather Uchiha Madara, Otsutsuki Kagaya, Otsutsuki Peach style, Otsutsuki Gold style, Otsutsuki 1 style. Even in the future, they may have to face the Otsutsuki family with unfathomable background far away on other planets. Even the most mysterious, suspected to have evolved into a true god of Otsutsuki, just like Otsutsuki Yagara, who is not in the same dimension as other Otsutsuki. Saving the world or something has nothing to do with him. All he does is to rely on his talent and hard work to surpass the legendary Otsutsuki god. This is Lu Ren's real ambition. After attaining the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. After being able to rely on the Dashway Mochi pupil technique to open the netherworld space. For a long time, limited by the age of his body, he has not yet had the power to protect himself, so he has restrained himself in the village, kept a low profile, and quietly accumulated strength. He completely let go of his scruples. Practice with all your strength here, without any restraint. Even like today, in order to exercise physical skills, he did not hesitate to fight with his own wood clone. For Lu Ren, this is just the beginning. Bang, bang. Come on, not enough, not enough. Time goes by bit. Every 10 minutes, Lu Ren had to withdraw from the netherworld. But he, who was covered in blood and bruises all over his body, activated the pupil technique Dashway Mochi in an instant. Immediately broke into that parallel space, and continued to fight unrelentingly. Who? I do not know how long it has been. Lu Ren, covered in blood, suddenly appeared in the room. He fell there, gasping for breath. Although it's a bit exaggerated, it does have a great effect. He was a little weak, and he didn't feel any loss or unwillingness. On the contrary, the eyes that even 3 Tomo Sharingan could hardly maintain showed unspeakable excitement, full of paranoia and madness. I can feel that I am constantly improving. He saw that he could quickly become stronger. It is possible for the 3 of ninjutsu to develop in an all-round way and go hand in hand. Fight with yourself, push yourself into a desperate situation, constantly break through your own limits, and obtain comprehensive sublimation. Also, after the wood clone was released, he returned with valuable experience and memories. The effect is remarkable. Such a method, although cruel. Even if you are a little careless, you may play yourself to death. But it works. If there really is a God in this world. Lu Ren clenched his fists tightly, his gaze unprecedentedly crazy. Then, why can't it be me? If it were someone else, they would definitely give up this crazy practice plan. But Lu Ren will not flinch from this. His unreconciled ambition. Not allowing him to back down. Take advantage of the last chakra. To set his own bone, and cooperate with his amazing self-healing ability, after further treatment. Chakra was exhausted and seriously injured, he was exhausted. After all, he couldn't hold it anymore, and passed out directly. Evening. Tsunade, who had some wine, was slightly tipsy. Returned to the hotel with Shizune. Looking at Lu Ren lying there in the room covered in sweat, with a bruised nose and swollen face, and even covered in blood. His complexion changed drastically, and he froze immediately. Lu Ren. Shizune looked anxious. He threw away the dolphin without hesitation. Shouting in shock, he rushed up immediately. Lu Ren, blood. And Tsunade sat there paralyzed all at once. The body trembled involuntarily, unable to move. With horror and worry in his eyes, and even some unspeakable anger, Exiamu stared at Lu Ren, who was covered in blood. What is going on? Lu Ren, what's wrong with you? Wake up. Holding Lu Ren, who was unconscious and comatose. Shizune's face was full of worry, and tears flowed out of anxiety. It's all my fault, I shouldn't have left you. As a medical ninja, she constantly checked Lu Ren's body. After confirming that there was no danger to his life, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. However, it was discovered that Lu Ren's internal organs were damaged to varying degrees. If it weren't for the amazing self-healing ability, I'm afraid his life is already in danger. Life hangs by a thread. Shizune, how's the situation? Tsunade gritted his teeth. Sitting there helplessly, the body couldn't stop trembling slightly. Looking at Lu Ren's immature face, it still looks bruised and swollen. Relying on his own exaggerated self-healing ability, he didn't recover directly. One can imagine how ruthless the attack was. At this moment, she saw her disciple lying there covered in blood, but she couldn't do anything as a teacher. Suddenly, I hated my weakness and incompetence extremely. Even because of his phobia, he couldn't even stand up. Hateful. Master Tsunade, he has injured his internal organs and has multiple fractures all over his body, as if he has experienced a very fierce battle, and all of them were blunt blow injuries which should be caused by physical skills. Shizune was there carefully checking every injury for Lu Ren. At this moment, Tsunade, who has a panic attack, can't be cared about. The hands are constantly making seals. In the palm of his hand, there is a soft green light. Pressed on Lu Ren's chest, speeding up the healing of the damaged internal organs. Without raising his head, he gritted his teeth and responded, however, his body has an amazing self-healing ability and is slowly recovering. Lu Ren's injury. It made her gasp. What kind of fierce battle can it be that Lu Ren, whose recovery ability is comparable to that of Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, and even better than that, can be injured like this? And, how does she feel? Those injuries, some are caused by strange power punches. Could it be? No, it's impossible. Shizune's complexion changed. I secretly rejected the idea I just had in my heart. She has been following Master Tsunade's side, it can't be the other party. Moreover, it is impossible for Master Tsunade to hurt Lu Ren, there is no reason at all. Who is it that is so cruel? Looking at his beloved disciple, lying there unconscious. Tsunade trembling with fear of blood. The heart is constantly being strongly impacted, and the face reveals pain. The scene of the bloody and cold body of the former brother Nawaki lying in his arms came into my mind again. Ah, get up for me. Fist, tightly clenched. Tsunade's pupils trembled, gradually turned into resolute, murderous look. Gritting his teeth, he ignored the fear of blood and suddenly stood up. Which fool actually hurt this child like this? Her complexion was ashen, full of anger, showing an astonishing murderous look. I can't spare him. Although we didn't get along for a long time. But I don't know if it's because the blood of the Senju family also flows in the body. For Lu Ren, who has a calm personality, amazing talent, and extremely intelligent, Tsunade unconsciously treats him as his own brother. Shizune, let me do it. Master Tsunade, you. Shizune was taken aback. With surprise in his eyes, he subconsciously stepped aside. Stop talking so much. Tsunade had a murderous look on his face. Not thrilled that he got rid of his phobia. Carefully inspect Lu Ren's injuries. But soon, her expression changed. Strange power fist. This. How is it possible? Although it is not without some people, they are born with great strength. But there is still a big difference between that kind of burst of power and the strange power fist that condenses a large amount of chakra and releases it in one breath. As an experienced medical master, he is also very good at strange power boxing. Tsunade can basically conclude, those injuries were most likely caused by the strange force fist. Master Tsunade, I had some guesses just now, but I'm not sure. Seeing Tsunade's shocked look, Shizune said there. Who the hell hurt him like this? Tsunade's face was cloudy and uncertain, full of surprise. But while continuing to treat Lu Ren, she couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, although his internal organs are damaged, his recovery power is far beyond ordinary people, so there is nothing serious. And, before he lost consciousness, he should have treated himself. Lu Ren only felt that he had a sweet dream. In the dream, he was lying on a soft sponge, constantly rolling around. Vaguely, he dreamed of a beautiful woman again, the infinite beauty made him linger. I don't want to wake up from my sleep for a long time. However, no matter how beautiful the dream is, there is always a time to wake up. For example, when Lu Ren slowly opened his eyes. I just feel a little sore all over. Immediately afterwards. What I saw were two huge mountains. On the high mountain, there is a thin, angry and ruddy pretty face. He was staring at him annoyed and angry. Little devil, have you rubbed enough? Sister Tsunade. Lu Ren's eyes widened. For a moment, he was a little dazed and woke up. Boom. Next moment, the whole person flew out and hit the wall. And Tsunade, who had a pretty face with a red cloud and was extremely ashamed, gritted his teeth. The outstretched right hand maintains the gesture of snapping fingers. Little pervert. She glared angrily at Lu Ren who fell down there, a little disheartened. Okay, the scar is forgotten, and I can't sleep well. Lu Ren was a little dazed. His eyes subconsciously looked over. The heavy pendant looks extremely stalwart. But soon, I felt someone's fiery gaze. Lu Ren felt a little chilly. After he came to his senses, he wiped the crystal from the corner of his mouth calmly. Scratching his head, pretending to be innocent. Sister Tsunade, what happened? In my heart, there are some aftertaste. It's really all natural, no additives. Lu Ren, you finally woke up. At this time, Shizune came in from outside. At the feet, there is also a pink pig. Dolphin rubbed against him there, expressing concern. Dog, Dolphin. I'm fine, it's just that chakra consumed too much yesterday and passed out. Lu Ren patted Dolphin on the head. Recalling yesterday's experience, I confirmed that I seemed to be too tired in the end, and fell asleep. As soon as I came back, I saw you lying there covered in blood, but we were shocked. Shizune patted his chest with some fear. Master Tsunade's hemophobia is attacking. Sister Tsunade's hemophobia. Lu Ren looked at Tsunade. It's nothing. Although I was taken aback, it was a blessing in disguise. Tsunade finished arranging her clothes and came over. He gave Lu Ren an angry look, but didn't blame the brat for his misbehavior just now. Exiamu stared at Lu Ren, eyes full of solemnity. Tell me, what happened yesterday? Who hurt you like this? Besides, why do you still have traces of strange power punches in your injury? This. Lu Ren scratched his head and said in embarrassment, you guys misunderstood, no one attacked me, I hurt myself. He didn't expect that because of himself, Tsunade would also trigger hemophobia. And from what it means, the hemophobia that made her, a medical sage, helpless has miraculously healed. You hurt yourself. Tsunade and Shizune froze. Clenching his fists, Tsunade glared at Lu Ren viciously. Say, what's going on? In order to practice physical skills, I let Wood Clone fight myself with physical skills, so I injured myself. Lu Ren spread his hands. He didn't intend to hide it either. After all, both Tsunade and Shizune are people he can trust. For the next practice, he still needs 2 people to help him heal. And there may be more than one person he can't beat in the current ninja world. But someone who can kill him may not necessarily exist. Unless it's some Otsutsuki who hides in the dark and dares not show up. You boy. Tsunade was furious. I almost couldn't hold back a slap. Yesterday, I saw the other party pouring blood there. But it scares her and Shizune. Thought someone was attacking. Who would have thought that it was Lu Ren who made it himself? Hey, Lu Ren, are you too messy? Shizune was completely speechless. Let the avatar beat himself like that. Looking at the entire ninja world, this guy is also the first one, right? However, let your avatar practice against yourself. What a wild idea. You kid is really hard-winged, it's just messing around. He tapped Lu Ren's head hard with his fingers. Tsunade asked angrily. To hurt you like this, don't you let more than 1 Wood Clone besiege you? Not much, just 2 Wood Clone. Lu Ren spread his hands. Only 2 more. Tsunade suddenly realized. As the granddaughter of first Hokage, she is naturally not ignorant of Wood style. Wood Clone is a more realistic physical clone than Shadow Clone, and even if there is enough chakra allocated, the single body technique is not necessarily worse than the main body. No wonder you are hurt like this. Shizune on the side didn't know what to say anymore. Looking at Lu Ren, full of resentment. Fortunately, they were so worried about each other yesterday. It turned out to be self-inflicted. There is such a big movement of the strange power fist, but there is no trace of damage here. Have you gone outside the city to practice? No, it's the different space I opened with Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil technique. Lu Ren shrugged. Prepare to confess the Sharingan matter to the teacher Tsunade. Otherwise, it would be bad to have any misunderstandings because of this in the future. Mangekyo Sharingan, different space, heard the words. Both Shizune and Tsunade couldn't help shrinking their pupils. Looking at Lu Ren in disbelief. Lu Ren, do you have a Mangekyo Sharingan? What on earth is it? Take a deep breath. Tsunade looked solemnly at Lu Ren. Although the other party is young, he has always been calm, and he would not joke about such things. It's like this, I found that the wood style I awakened is a bit special, maybe it's a bit different from the wood style of the first generation. Huh, special. Tsunade couldn't help frowning. She stared at Lu Ren, and said in a deep voice, well, I have also noticed this, you don't even need to seal to use wood style. But no matter how special it is impossible for you to have Uchiha's bloodline. Unless you're one of the parents or other direct ancestors as of Uchiha clan. She is very clear, unless you have Uchiha blood. Even if a foreigner transplants the Sharingan, it cannot be closed. Just like Kakashi, Sharingan has earned his reputation as the copy ninja, Kakashi. But since they cannot close the Sharingan freely like other Uchiha people, they consume chakra all the time and become a huge burden. This means, Lu Ren should not have transplanted Uchiha's Sharingan. As far as she knows, Lu Ren's mother, and his grandfather. They are all very ordinary civilian ninjas, they can't be Uchiha's people at all. Could it be an even more ancient direct ancestor, with Uchiha bloodlines? That's not. Lu Ren did not hide anymore, and said bluntly, but I can directly absorb and plunder other people's chakra and even the nutrients in the body through wood style, and turn them into nutrients to supplement myself. And as long as you can get the other party's blood, you can perfectly integrate its hidden genes with yourself, and even copy and plunder other people's blood successor boundaries in disguise. Talking, he closed his eyes. When it is opened again, already turned into blood-colored Sharingan. 3 black jade hooks spun around. Clear and distinct. What? Hiss. Really Sharingan? Looking at the other party's scarlet eyes, Tsunade and Shizune were completely stunned. Looking at Lu Ren in disbelief, he couldn't help but gasp. Even if it was them, they couldn't help but feel their scalps tingling at this moment. What a terrible ability is this? It's even possible to directly copy and plunder other people's blood inheritance boundary. So, your Sharingan started itself after merging Uchiha's bloodline. Tsunade took a deep breath, trying to calm himself down. Looking directly at Lu Ren, he asked in a deep voice. 2 years ago, when I was catching fish by the Nanga River to practice medical ninjutsu, I accidentally picked up Uchiha Shisui's body, but found that his eyes had been gouged out, and then I used wood style to absorb a little his chakra, inadvertently absorbed a bit of flesh and blood. Lu Ren did not hide anything, and said, after I came back, my eyes suddenly felt hot in the middle of the night, and then I found out that I have Sharingan. It was also at that time that I realized that my wood style is very special. Then, after now died, Lu Ren, you were stimulated to activate the Mangekyo Sharingan. Tsunade raised an eyebrow and asked directly. She once heard her second grandfather mention it. Uchiha's Sharingan evolves due to strong emotional impact. But because of this, many Uchiha people have changed their personalities and become more and more extreme. That's not, Lu Ren said helplessly. It's like this. On the night when the Uchiha clan was exterminated, I couldn't hold back my curiosity, and secretly sent Wood Clone to inquire about information, and let them sneak into the Uchiha clan by virtue of their latent ability that will not be easily detected. You boy. Tsunade's mouth twitched. She has already warned the other party, let him ignore it. Unexpectedly, this guy was so bold that he dared to directly send a clone to sneak into Uchiha. If it is discovered by the higher-ups, there will be big trouble. So, Lu Ren, you actually know what happened to the Uchiha clan? Tsunade folded his arms and asked lightly. Then Lu Ren, what was the truth about that night? Looking at Lu Ren's blood-red Sharingan, Shizune next to him couldn't help asking curiously, is it true that Uchiha Itachi slaughtered the entire clan? Shizune is young though, but after all, I have gone through a lot of traveling with Tsunade. For the truth given by the village high level. Of course she couldn't believe it. When my wood clone broke in, I happened to see Uchiha Itachi slaughtering his people, and found that the root leader Shimura Danzo's subordinates were quietly following behind and constantly collecting the Sharingan of the Uchiha people. Lu Ren shrugged and weaved half-truths, but Uchiha Itachi's actions were ordered by Danzo. As long as he is willing to kill the rest of Uchiha, he can save his brother Uchiha Sasuke's life. So, I got ahead of Root and collected some Sharingan. And took the opportunity to take away some ninjutsu scrolls from the library of the Uchiha clan. Chapter 51. I see. After listening to Lu Ren's explanation, both Tsunade and Shizune couldn't help feeling a little dazed. But at the same time, it was even more astonishing. As for Lu Ren, I don't know what to say anymore. As a branch of the Senju family, being able to awaken wood style is already an exaggeration. Unexpectedly, the opponent's wood style was even more exaggerated than first Hokage. It is actually able to directly plunder other people's blood inheritance limit. Tisk tisk, you kid is really daring. Tsunade looked at Lu Ren with some admiration. Although I don't know what that Danzo guy wants Sharingan to do, but you can take away part of Sharingan from under the nose of the Root organization, and you can also take away those ninjutsu collected by the Uchiha clan, scrolls related to secret arts, it's really incredible. Then Lu Ren, did you just devour those Sharingan and thus activate the Mangekyo? Looking at Lu Ren's Sharingan, the curious Shizune couldn't help asking. I wanted to try to devour them to see if I could open the Mangekyo Sharingan, but I didn't expect the pupil power and chakra in those Sharingan to resonate with my Sharingan. Lu Ren shrugged, but he didn't hide it. I was emotionally affected by the information left in those Sharingans, and I opened Mangekyo Sharingan under strong stimulation, and after fusing the pupil power of those Sharingans, I got a further step improvement. I remember that if Mangekyo Sharingan is used too much, it will cause blindness. For Lu Ren's words, Tsunade didn't suspect anything. With a serious face, she reminded in a deep voice, "You kid, pay attention, your wood style itself is not weaker than Sharingan, so don't rely too much on that power. She is not such a superficial person, and she doesn't have any stubborn ideas. Although I don't like the Uchiha family who have always been arrogant and think highly of themselves. But the essence of power is neither good nor bad. The difference is who wields that power. There is no grudge because Lu Ren concealed it. He still regards him as his disciple, worrying that the other party will be overly immersed in the power of Mangekyo Sharingan and lose himself. On this point, Sister Tsunade, you can rest assured, I never thought about relying too much on the power of Mangekyo Sharingan." Tsunade's concern. It warmed Lu Ren's heart. He smiled and said, "Normal Mangekyo Sharingan, if you use it too much, your eyesight will indeed continue to decline, and eventually you will even go blind directly. However, I have Wood Style's blood succession limit, and I have swallowed a large amount of Sharingan, and I have gained a stronger pupil power, which will not be affected. I have the same eternal Mangekyo Sharingan as Uchiha Madara in the past." Uchiha Madara, eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, heard the words. Whether it's Tsunade or Shizune, both of them can't help but shrink their pupils. A little shocked and inexplicable. "That's good." Tsunade nodded and put it down. She is not surprised that Lu Ren knows Uchiha Madara. After all, the other party took the collection of the Uchiha clan. With some relevant records, it is not surprising that some knowledge of Uchiha's history is known. One person gathers the power of Senju and Uchiha. She looked at Lu Ren, who was only 8 years old, and couldn't help but exclaim, "You are also the first person in history." Well, indeed. Shizune nodded repeatedly. She couldn't imagine how powerful Lu Ren is now. If you wait until the opponent grows up, I am afraid that he can really surpass First Hokage, who is known as the God of Ninja. No, Sister Tsunade, through some secret techniques of the Uchiha clan and related records. Lu Ren shook his head. He looked directly at Tsunade, and said in a deep voice, "I suspect, Uchiha Madara is probably not dead." In order for Tsunade to cooperate with his practice, he had to reveal some shocking information in advance. Anyway, he did go to have a look at the stone monument of the Nanga shrine of the Uchiha clan. He knows the contents tampered with by Black Zetsu like the back of his hand. What? For a while, both Tsunade and Shizune's eyes widened. All of them couldn't help but their expressions changed drastically, and they looked at Lu Ren in disbelief. "Lu Ren, you said that Uchiha Madara, who is as famous as First Hokage, is still alive." "Impossible." Shizune couldn't help swallowing, feeling his scalp tingling. "Don't be kidding, Lu Ren." Tsunade said loudly, "I remember that guy's dead body was brought back after the showdown with Grandpa, there's no way he's still alive. Even her grandfather, First Hokage, died shortly after he defeated Uchiha Madara due to his injuries. How could Uchiha Madara, who had been killed by her grandfather, still be alive?" "Sister Tsunade, don't get excited, listen to me." Lu Ren comforted the emotional Tsunade. "That's right, I found out that among the secret arts of the Uchiha clan, there is a technique called transfer seal." "Transfer the seal." Tsunade frowned. "What kind of technique is this?" "That is, the Sharingan holder can use the Sharingan to look at the target and seal the spell into the eyes of himself or the target. When the condition is met, the seal will be automatically released, and the skill will be automatically activated." "But what does that have to do with the fact that Uchiha Madara might be alive?" Shizune was full of puzzlement. Tsunade on the side also looked at Lu Ren with searching eyes. "I have to mention the forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan, Izanagi." "Izanagi, Uchiha's forbidden technique." Both Tsunade and Shizune couldn't help being taken aback. This is a forbidden technique that can turn unfavorable things that happen to you in a period of time into dreams at the cost of sacrificing a Sharingan, turning them into dreams that never happened, and only choose things that are good for you to turn into reality. Quote. Lu Ren said bluntly, even the ending of death can be reversed. What? Even death can be reversed? Tsunade and Shizune were shocked for no reason. Even Tsunade, who was born in the Senju clan, couldn't help feeling his scalp tingle. I didn't even know that the Uchiha clan had such a forbidden technique. It's just chilling. According to my investigation, Shimura Danzo, the leader of the root, probably took away Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan, and his right arm has a very strange chakra reaction, and it is likely that he directly transplanted first-generation cells with other Sharingan. I think he has mastered this forbidden technique 9 times out of 10, that's why he's trying so hard to get rid of the Uchiha clan. Just to be able to get a lot of Sharingan to act as a spare eye. That Danzo guy. Hearing what Lu Ren said, Tsunade couldn't help but change his expression. I have to be very wary of Shimura Danzo and even the root organization. Wait, Lu Ren, you mean? Shizune raised his hand, and asked with some disbelief. Uchiha Madara probably used that transfer seal to seal that forbidden technique called Izanagi in his eyes in advance. But this is just your speculation, Lu Ren. Tsunade frowned, thought for a moment, and said in a deep voice, moreover, in order to prevent ambitious people from coveting Uchiha Madara's power, first Hokage ordered second Hokage to destroy his body. Say so. But her heart couldn't help but jump. Take Tsunade's understanding of his second grandfather, Senju Tobarama. The second grandfather who likes to study forbidden technique the most cannot fail to be interested in the corpses of strong men like Uchiha Madara. Maybe it was actually possible to leave Uchiha Madara's body privately. I don't know about this. Maybe he has set up a special mechanism. If someone tries to destroy his body, the transfer seal may not be triggered directly. Lu Ren spread his hands. Uchiha Madara does take some risks. Looking at Tsunade seriously, he said, but Sister Tsunade, my speculation is not unfounded. I once found a strange stone tablet in the Nanga shrine of the Uchiha clan. The text recorded on it can only be interpreted by Sharingan's pupil power, and the stronger the pupil power, the more content can be interpreted. Need a Sharingan to read. Both Tsunade and Shizune were a little surprised. It seems to be left behind by the legendary ancestor of ninja sect, Sage of Six Paths. Nodding his head, Lu Ren half-truthfully said, it records a god who divides yin and yang into 2 poles, and for stability, when the 2 poles are reunited, you can get everything in one place. As for the ultimate of yin and yang, I understand it as the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan and the wood style of first Hokage. That is, if the 2 powers are combined into one, it is very likely to obtain the power of the Sage of Six Paths. Wait, Sage of Six Paths? Did that legendary figure really exist? For a while, Tsunade and Shizune, in my heart, I couldn't help jumping hard. Shocked beyond measure, he looked at Lu Ren in disbelief. Although I don't know whether it's true or not. Lu Ren shrugged and said with certainty, but as the patriarch of Uchiha, it is impossible for Uchiha Madara not to have interpreted that stele. Also, considering that he has lost to first Hokage more than once, if that guy really wants to challenge first Hokage again, it may not be impossible to plan ahead. I have to suspect that in order to gain the power of first Hokage, he deliberately challenged and pretended to be defeated. Listen to Lu Ren's analysis. Tsunade thought of something and broke out in a cold sweat. Is that guy really still alive? By the way, there was a guy wearing a mask that night, helping Uchiha Itachi slaughter other Uchiha people. See, Tsunade faintly, already somewhat believed in his own words. Lu Ren remembered something, and added directly, my wood clone, I once heard his conversation with Uchiha Itachi, and Uchiha Itachi called it Madara. What? Shizune on the side was completely dumbfounded. In the past, he was famous in the ninja world, famous for his viciousness, and known as the Sura man, Uchiha Madara. Really alive? Did you really see a masked man who called himself Uchiha Madara that night? Tsunade was inexplicably shocked, staring at Lu Ren desperately. Said angrily, such news, you kid didn't say it earlier. His chakra isn't weak, but I don't think he's the real Uchiha Madara. 9 times out of 10, he's a guy who pulls a tiger's skin and pretends to be a ghost. Lu Ren shrugged. No, not necessarily. Tsunade's complexion changes. Combined with Lu Ren's previous methodical analysis. Thinking of the Nine Tails rebellion that fourth Hokage had to sacrifice himself and put down with his life 8 years ago, she already had some doubts. After all, third Hokage had mentioned it to her. Someone attacked fourth Hokage's wife Uzumaki Kushina that day. Taking advantage of the fact that Jinchuriki had just given birth and was weak and her seal was a little unstable, she released the Nine Tails demon fox. And manipulated it using Sharingan. Therefore, the Uchiha family is the most suspected. However, even the extermination of the Uchiha clan has not been confirmed. Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, who currently own the Mangekyo Sharingan in the Uchiha clan, were too young to be behind it. In this case, the suspicion of Uchiha Madara is indeed great. With his hatred of first Hokage, there is every reason to do so. I heard that before Uchiha Madara parted ways with first Hokage, he wanted to lead Uchiha away from Konoha, but after finally enjoying the peaceful Uchiha clan, no one wanted to leave with him. Tsunade frowned, and said in a deep voice, "This is undoubtedly a betrayal for Uchiha Madara, who has always been arrogant and conceited. He has held grudges in his heart all these years, and it is not impossible to destroy the Uchiha clan. Furthermore, there are all kinds of ninjutsu in this world, emerging in endlessly. She feels that with Uchiha Madara's means, it may not be impossible to keep herself alive until now. Although, even if Uchiha Madara has lived to the present, his age should be extremely exaggerated. But maybe after the fight with first Hokage that year, he survived but his injuries were too serious, or maybe for some reason he has lost the strength of his heyday. Otherwise, with Uchiha Madara's overwhelming strength, there is no need for any conspiracy at all. In the current Konoha, it is impossible for anyone to stop the other party. Forget it, regardless of whether that guy Uchiha Madara is really alive or not." All of a sudden, Tsunade felt that his mind was a little messed up, and suppressed the shock in his heart. She shook her head and said in a deep voice, "It's beyond our control right now. Leave it to third Hokage to have a headache. At least, even knowing that Uchiha Madara might still be alive. She can't do anything right now, without exposing Lu Ren. Even if he directly issued a warning to third Hokage and others. Those old guys who have been corrupted by power, are stubborn, and only know how to fight for power, except that she is alarmist. It was impossible to listen to her. If Lu Ren's ability is exposed, those guys will definitely not be able to sit still. Especially Shimura Danzo, that gloomy guy. 100% will attack Lu Ren. But having said that, even if you want to cultivate, you don't have to work so hard, right?" She glared at Lu Ren angrily. The news that Uchiha Madara is still alive is really disturbing. After all, for such a dangerous guy, no one knows what he is planning in private. Based on her understanding of Uchiha Madara, it is obviously impossible for such an extremely strong and domineering man who admires power to lose his power willingly. And Lu Ren just said, "The steel in the Nanga shrine of the Uchiha clan is left behind by the legendary sage of 6 paths. Although it cannot be proven true. Maybe, one day, it may directly restore the strength of the heyday. Able to stop him. Perhaps, only Lu Ren grew up. With the power of both Uchiha and Senju, the future of this disciple is simply limitless." She couldn't imagine what heights Lu Ren could achieve in the future. Perhaps, it can really be the same as the stone tablet said. It is not necessarily necessary to obtain the divine power of everything in the universe. There is no way, Sister Tsunade, I can't do it unless I work hard. With a solemn face, Lu Ren said in a deep voice, because there is even more astonishing information on that stone tablet in Uchiha. Is there any more shocking information? Tsunade and Shizune were extremely surprised. According to the meaning on the stone tablet, the person who combined the power of Senju and Uchiha and gave birth to the power of God, as long as he summons the Gedo statue and collects all the tail beasts, he can resurrect 10 tails and become 10 tails Jinchuriki. Lu Ren said bluntly, "Open infinite Tsukuyomi and pull the entire ninja world into a dream, so that the world will become free from disputes and achieve real peace." What? Gedo statue, 10 tails, infinite Tsukuyomi. Tsunade and Shizune were shocked. All of them couldn't help but their faces changed greatly, and they were beyond shocked. Because it's a dream, so when the time comes, people can achieve whatever they want, and if everyone can get satisfaction from the dream, it will be equivalent to a different kind of peace. Lu Ren shrugged. Needless to say, for some people, if you give them a chance to choose, maybe they'd rather be an infinite Tsukuyomi and dream. Anyway, the dream is so real. And any dream, any ambition can be realized. Even if you want to become the supreme emperor, become the strongest person in the world, become the savior or something. 3 wives and 4 concubines, prosperity and wealth, let alone these. Using an illusion like infinite Tsukuyomi to let people in the whole world enter a dream, what kind of peace is this? Tsunade was a little annoyed. At the same time, with a solemn face, she fixed her eyes on Lu Ren. You boy, you won't be bewitched, and you think it's right. If Lu Jen was really bewitched by the information on the steel, there will be big troubles. A kid of this age. The mind is the most easily shaken, easily influenced. Of course not, I'm not a savior, I just want Sister Tsunade to be safe. Looking directly into Tsunade's eyes, Lu Ren didn't intend to dodge in the slightest. He pointedly said, but, some people may not be sure. You mean Uchiha Madara? The expressions of Tsunade and Shizune changed drastically. Thinking of something, a bone-chilling chill involuntarily gushed out. Cold from head to toe, dripping with cold sweat. Lu Ren can decipher spells, and so can Uchiha Madara. And, through the chaotic Sengoku era, ended the troubled times with first Hokage and co-founded Uchiha Madara of Konoha village. Ben left angrily because of the disagreement between his ideas and first Hokage, and even went to confrontation. If he is really still alive, he has witnessed the ninja wars again and again, the frequent wars of various countries, and the chaos. It will only make him more disappointed and dissatisfied with the world. Maybe, it is really possible to believe the statement on the stone tablet. Think only infinite Tsukuyomi can save the world. Is that why you practice so hard? A long time. Tsunade came back to his senses and stared blankly at Lu Ren. Is this child going to bear everything at such a young age? Yes, and no. Lu Ren's eyes were full of determination, and he said with a smile, Sister Tsunade, please forgive my selfishness, I never thought of being a savior, I just want to protect those who care about me around me. Quote, you little devil with no hair yet, you think a lot. There was a moment of silence. Tsunade knocked Lu Ren on the head angrily. But at the next moment, he hugged Lu Ren tightly and buried him in the stalwart. His eyes were involuntarily sparkling and moving. She knew that among those people Lu Ren was referring to. Definitely have yourself. Shizune on the side, smiling. There should be one for yourself, right? I understand, remember to tell me when you are going to practice again. Tsunade looked at Lu Ren in his arms full of doting, and said directly, otherwise, it's too dangerous for you to mess around by yourself. Ah, I see, Sister Tsunade. Please let me go, I'm about to die of suffocation. Lu Ren suffers and is happy. Worthy of a high-quality pendant. It's just too big. Actually, yesterday's degree of injury is nothing. A long time. It was hard to come out from that beautiful stalwart. Lu Ren, who was almost suffocating, let out a long breath. Looking at Tsunade's beautiful face, he said with a smile, there was a little accident, if I were in the wild, I would recover soon. He is an ordinary Logia ability user. After the sensen fruit is combined with its own chakra, an amazing upgrade takes place. Yesterday's accident was mainly due to a misjudgment. The injury had just been healed, but because of excessive mental fatigue, he couldn't hold on and fell into a coma. Because after removing wood clone, those experiences and memories will all return to the body with chakra. This is not a bad thing, on the contrary, it has a lot of advantages. It can make Lu Ren understand every detail of his battle more clearly, and not miss every mistake. Allow yourself to constantly reflect, learn, and improve. Strive to do better, but the price is because of the high-intensity fierce fighting. Mental fatigue is also doubled because of this. If in the wild, he just had to hold his breath, grab a few beasts directly, and even devour the essence of trees directly. You can recover yourself, but, from now on, if Sister Tsunade is with you, I can really let go of my hands and feet. As the ability user of sensen fruit, his vitality is unbelievably tenacious. Under normal circumstances, it is not easy to die. There must be a degree in everything, Haste makes waste, you kid, don't be too messy. Tsunade knocked on Lu Ren's head, admonishing there. She looked at Lu Ren's scarlet 3-tomo Sharingan, and asked curiously, however, what exactly is your Mangekyo Sharingan pupil ability? Dashue Muchi, this is the space-time pupil technique conceived by my eyes. Lu Ren said. The eyes, directly changed. Transformed into a cool Mangekyo pattern. He also briefly introduced his abilities to Tsunade and Shizune. Also went straight forward, at a speed visible to the naked eye. Strangely, it penetrated Tsunade's body and came out from behind. Unbelievable. Hiss, what a terrifying ability. Witness Lu Ren's incomprehensible pupil technique. Rao was prepared, but Tsunade and Shizune still couldn't believe it. Some scalp numb at the same time. I can't help but be thankful that Lu Ren is not an enemy. Because, they don't have special pupil skills like Sharingan or Bian, let alone perception. Facing Lu Ren's terrifying pupil technique alone, he is helpless at all. I'm afraid it will be difficult to escape. The power of Mangekyo Sharingan is indeed a bit too amazing. Looking at the 8-year-old Lu Ren in front of him, Tsunade couldn't help but feel a little inexplicable. No wonder that Guy Danzo covets that power, and wants to race Uchiha all the time. She felt that if they really fought against each other, it is really possible that he will be killed cleanly by Lu Ren. That Dashue Mauchi's pupil technique is really incomprehensible. The strange parallel space of Netherworld. Can't see, can't touch. But it still exists. Lu Ren can even use Wood Clone to directly launch effective attacks that make it invisible and undetectable from inside. And as long as he is in it, even if he stands in front of you and does not dodge or dodge, even if you use all kinds of means and attack with all your strength, he will not be able to hurt him at all. If anyone becomes your enemy, Lu Ren, I'm afraid it's really bad luck. Shizune was full of admiration. This little junior brother is really too powerful. She couldn't imagine, when the enemy faced Lu Ren's Mangekyo pupil technique. How desperate should be. Okay, let's stop talking about this. Digesting too much information at once. Tsunade tried to calm himself down. Seeing that Lu Ren was basically fine, he said directly to his 2 disciples, after breakfast, I still have to see a doctor. I'll talk about the cultivation in the afternoon. You kid, don't try to be lazy. No, Sister Tsunade. Time flies. In a blink of an eye, several days passed like this. Lu Ren went out to practice medicine with Tsunade in the morning. Under Tsunade's guidance, he treated the nobles for various difficult and miscellaneous diseases, and gained a lot of money. In the afternoon, practice various ninjutsu and secret techniques from the Uchiha clan in the Netherworld space. At night, fight your Wood Clone directly in Netherworld. There is Tsunade, a medical master and bodyguard. Lu Ren didn't have to worry about whether he would lose the power to resist because of his injuries. Put your heart and soul into it and train like crazy. Every time he comes out of the Netherworld covered in blood. However, Tsunade and Shizune, who were unable to enter the Netherworld space and were waiting there, treated him immediately. Even though it's only been a week. But Lu Ren's progress has reached an incredible level. Whether it is taijutsu or ninjutsu, there has been a significant improvement. This also shortened Tsunade's free time directly, complaining that he didn't have time to go to the casino. Thank you very much, you are truly a miracle doctor. In front of the gate of a mansion, a group of people surrounded Tsunade, Shizune, and Lu Ren and walked out from the inside. A fat-bellied nobleman, with a slightly pale face full of smiles, very politely offered a generous consultation fee. Your Excellency Tsunade, this is a little kindness from this old man. It is not a respect, but I hope you accept it. Even as an aristocrat, the self-proclaimed nobility completely despises those ninjas who only know how to fight and kill, who are no different from tools. But he dared not show any disrespect to Tsunade, a medical master. Because, not only is this Princess Konoha personally conferred by the daimyo of the Fire Country, but she also has superb medical skills. After all, even if you have a great name, high status, and great power, you can't guarantee that you will be free from all diseases. Maybe when I have to ask others. It's too late to curry favor with such a character. As long as you are not stupid, who will offend you? Then thank you. Tsunade was also polite and nodded. Lu Ren on the side smiled. Instead of Shizune, the senior sister. Received the consultation money sent by the nobleman. Then, let's resign. Take care. After returning to the hotel. It is finally over. Tsunade is stretched out, her curves are amazing. Even the exquisite pendant couldn't help bouncing twice on the exaggerated beauty. Tisk tisk, that minister is really generous. Open the suitcase. Looking at the banknotes full of money. Squinting his crescent eyes, Shizune was a little happy. The rest of the rewards these days have been used to pay off those debts. Finally, part of it can be left behind. After all, Sister Tsunade is a legendary medical master, and she can't be invited all the time. Lu Ren shrugged, and didn't care about the money. Who can guarantee that next time it won't be asked for by Sister Tsunade? They naturally want to curry favor. Hee, no matter how you say it, it's not in vain. With money in hand, Shizune is naturally a little happy. She put away the box, looked at Tsunade, and asked, Master Tsunade, are we leaving? Well, there's no need to stay here anymore. Tsunade nodded. There was a chill on her beautiful face. He asked directly to Lu Ren, those guys, shouldn't they be able to hold back? These days, someone has been watching them from afar. But under Lu Ren's powerful perception ability, it was fully exposed. Well, those guys from the Root organization have been secretly monitoring for several days like dog skin plaster. It seems that they are not afraid of being discovered by us at all. Lu Ren shrugged. It should be aimed at me. As soon as we leave the city, we probably won't be able to hold back our moves. He squinted his eyes and said with a smile, also, I sense that guy Danzo's chakra, it looks like he just rushed over. Lu Ren roughly guessed Danzo's purpose. 9 times out of 10, it is too amazing to see the talent revealed. Want to use Uchiha Shisui's distinguished heavenly gods on him that can forcibly change the will of others. Make yourself available to you. Danzo, that guy. Tsunade clenched his fists. There was a flash of coldness in his eyes. She was murderous, and said coldly, then this time, Lu Ren, you don't have to show mercy. Tsunade is not a religious man. Especially, for Danzo, the conspirator, she hates it not for a day or two. Moreover, not long after the death of second Hokage that year. Before his death, Sarutobi Hiruzen was appointed as Hokage. Shimura Danzo became Hokage assistant, and Mitokado Homura and Udatane Koharu also became Hokage advisors. The 4 formed a group of elders and became the senior management of the village. As soon as they came up, they couldn't wait to suppress the Senju family. From the end of the First Ninja War to the Second Ninja War. In just over 10 years, the powerful members of the Senju clan died on the battlefield one after another. This guy can't get away with it. Since he dared to harm his disciples. This time, she will never let it go. Just right, use them to test your strength. Lu Ren heard the words. Licking his lips, he smiled, that's great. After all, no matter what. Want to become a real strong man. Just burying your head in penance is not enough. He just wanted to use actual combat to verify his own strength. Sister Tsunade, Senior Sister Shizune. Inside the hotel. Lu Ren, who packed up his things, checked the ninja gear. Remind Tsunade and Shizune directly. That guy Danzo probably took Uchiha Shisui's eyes, you have to be careful. The name of Shisui, I have indeed heard of it when I traveled in the land of fire these years. It is said that illusion is quite powerful, and she is very good at body flicker technique. Tsunade nodded. Shizune also echoed there, a little curious, I just don't know what kind of pupil art Mangekyo Sharingan is. Distinguished heavenly gods, a Mangekyo Sharingan pupil technique known as the strongest illusion technique, can directly and permanently forcibly tamper with the will of others. Lu Ren spread out his hands and said bluntly, for example, I guess Danzo should have taken a fancy to my talent and wanted to use distinguished heavenly gods on me and let me work for him. Tsunade, Shizune, for a while, both of them couldn't help but looked at each other, their eyelids twitching. Originally full of energy, they wanted to teach the Root organization a lesson. I couldn't help gushing out a cold air in my heart, and felt a little scalp numb. Is this an illusion? Uchiha's Mangekyo Sharingan, the pupil technique born, is simply exaggerated one by one. They all didn't know what to say. It's just too unreasonable and overbearing. No wonder they were exterminated. Then what should I do? It would be too dangerous if I get entangled by Danzo. Tsunade's expression was uncertain. I saw Lu Ren's almost incomprehensible pupil technique, Dashui Mauchi. Here Uchiha Shisui's distinguished heavenly gods so exaggerated. Even her, Sanin, is more confident in her own strength. Also had to be cautious. Don't worry about this, I have the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Besides the pupil technique of Oxue Mochi, there are other pupil techniques. Lu Ren said with a smile. Uga Yuhun, this is a kind of pupil technique that can ignore all illusions, and it can just restrain distinguished heavenly gods. It's just Sister Tsunade and Sister Shizune, you must, Aichi, be careful. Well, I know that guy Danzo very well. If he finds that he can't take you down, he can use any kind of tricks. Tsunade nodded. His face became a little serious, and there was a murderous look in his eyes. Besides, he probably doesn't know that Sister Tsunade, your blood phobia has been healed, and you will probably take advantage of your weakness at that time. Sister Tsunade, you can use your tricks. Lu Ren clapped his hands with fists. Full of confidence, he said with a smile, Danzo still has the roots to organize those guys, just leave it to me. He couldn't wait to confirm it. What kind of level can one's own combat power reach at present? Danzo delivered it himself. Just right. Now, the Kingdom of Fire, outside the capital. Shimura Danzo, leaning on a cane, kneels in front of several figures wearing masks and carrying ninja swords. Are Tsunade and the Chenny Lu Ren still in the capital? To be able to master illusions so proficiently at the age of 8 is really inconceivable. Moreover, even the medical ninjutsu is so good, and he has the blood of the Senju family, naturally has a very amazing draw. The qualifications and potential displayed by Chenny Lu Ren. It has already made Danzo tempted, and even has to pay attention to it. Originally, he received a report from his subordinates a few days ago, made up his mind, and wanted to make a move halfway. I never thought that the other party's party would leave Konoha so quickly, and rushed directly to the capital of the Fire Kingdom that day. He had to send someone over to investigate again. He even ordered that even if they were discovered by Tsunade, they would not hesitate to continue monitoring. After asking Utatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura to intercede, and getting third Hokage to agree to lift the ban and stop letting Anbu continue to monitor him, he rushed over without stopping. Yes, Lord Danzo, the leader, an elite Jonin, knelt on one knee and reported directly. In the past few days, Tsunade, a medical master, has received many invitations from nobles, and spends a morning visiting the doctor every day to treat those nobles, teaching his disciple Chenny Lu Ren. But it's all over for today, I guess I'm about to leave. These days, they obviously didn't do nothing and just followed. I have already found out how many nobles in the capital of the Fire Kingdom asked Tsunade to come to see a doctor. Shimura Danzo's eyes flickered, and he said quietly, then let people lie in ambush first, and wait for them to leave the city before acting. Master Danzo, Tsunade, one of the Sanin, is not weak. If you want to lure her away from her disciple Chenny Lu Ren without revealing her identity, I'm afraid. A rooted Jonin is not without misgivings. Don't worry, Tsunade has blood phobia, as long as she sees blood, the woman will lose her fighting power. Danzo waved his hand, some disdainfully sneered. As for her female disciple, she probably doesn't have much strength, just send 2 or 3 people to hold her back. Remember, don't hurt Tsunade's life, that woman is still useful. Paused, he stroked his chin and said sullenly, I believe that as long as that Chenny Lu Ren finds out that our target is him, in order to protect his teacher, I believe he will be willing to act as a bait and try to lure the enemy. At that time, the old man will have to confirm for himself how strong that brat can be. Yes, members of the root organization all responded. Chenny Lu Ren, how much surprise can you bring this old man? Shimura Danzo's eyes dimmed. For Chenny Lu Ren, he is going to use the distinguished heavenly gods with an extremely long cooldown period. This means that in the next few years, the pupil power of his right eye may not be able to recover. However, if you can harvest a genius who is better than Orochi, I believe it will definitely become his right-hand man. By then, Hokage will be in his pocket sooner or later. Even the position of Hokage is just a small beginning. He wants to prove it to the world and to his teacher second Hokage. He, Shimura Danzo, is the perfect Hokage. The war in the ninja world will definitely end with him. I hope you don't disappoint me. Less than half an hour. A group of 3 people walked out of the prosperous capital of the Kingdom of Fire. When Tsunade, Shizune, and Lu Ren walked through a tree-lined path, the bird song that came from all around from time to time gradually disappeared. In the air, there is an invisible chill. It was depressingly quiet. The 3 master and apprentice looked at each other calmly. Without warning, a whistle echoed. Immediately afterwards, in the surrounding forest. Whoosh, 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 one shuriken after another, kunai all brushed, pokong. Densely packed, overwhelming, he shot straight at the 3 of them. Even, some of the kunai are tied with detonating charms that are braving sparks and, sizzling, sounding. Wooden ingot wall. Lu Ren's face remained unchanged. There's not even a joint seal, just lift your right hand. Quote. On the ground, a large number of thick wooden strips emerged. The members of the root organization lurking around looked at the inexplicable eyes. At an astonishing speed, an oval shield was formed. Guard the 3 of them firmly. Boom, the flames burst into the sky. Thick smoke billowed up. A huge explosion echoed in the forest. What is that? Wood style, how can this be? A famous ninja was stunned and shocked. Even Danzo, who was hiding in the dark, couldn't help shrinking his eyes sharply. Some unbelievable loss of voice. Wood style. That kid. How could he not be familiar with wood style? From Orochimaru's laboratory, Zengen harvested an experimental body that successfully fused the first generation's gene and survived. Although the opponent's wood style is not worth mentioning compared to first Hokage. But it is not weaker than the general blood succession limit. It's a pity that it was later discovered by third Hokage and took it away from the root organization. Not to mention this, Danzo's own right arm. Not only cells from first generation were transplanted, but also a large number of Sharingan were transplanted. To balance the violent power of the 2, keep them stable. Naturally, he also mastered the wood style of first Hokage. I said that Tsunade ran back to the village so suddenly, it turned out that Lu Ren awakened wood style. Danzo, who was hiding in the dark, was a little stunned. His eyes couldn't help becoming hotter. Unlike the Tianzang, who is the experimental subject, Lu Ren is probably his own awakened wood style. Senju's lineage, coupled with wood style. No wonder there is such an amazing chakra at the age of 8. The other party's future is indeed limitless. If the old man can subdue him, with such a genius effect, he will definitely be even more powerful. Danzo showed excitement, even with a hint of madness. He absolutely wanted to take Lu Ren under his command. Wood style, that was the power of first Hokage to calm the troubled times in the past. Even the tailed beast that claims to have infinite chakra, it is not worth mentioning in front of that kind of power. He has such a high talent at the age of 8. I believe that the power of wood style that can be exerted by itself is definitely not weak. Suppressing his excitement, he gave an eerie order. Give it to the old man, proceed according to the plan. Yes, one black figure after another. They rushed out one after another, surrounding the area filled with black smoke. There are a dozen or so people. And after camouflage, everyone wears weird masks. It is completely different from the previous root organization's attire, and there are no signs related to Konoha on the body. It is not directly associated with the root organization. And at this time, the smoke cleared. A huge oval-shaped protective shield composed of a large number of wooden strips is filled with the Emperor's shuriken and kunai. Even the detonating talisman that was caught in it before is amazingly powerful. It's just fried until the surface is a little burnt black. But it can't be shaken at all. Brush, strips containing astonishing chakra, wooden boards as strong as steel, began to spread out there. Lu Ren, Tsunade, and Shizune inside were safe and sound. Who are you guys? Tsunade's face was gloomy, full of anger. Anger is real, but without knowing the identity of the other party, it is naturally a fake. Not knowing who these people are means that they can kill without any scruples. Superior, the leading member of the root organization looked indifferently. No nonsense, holding a sharp ninja knife in his hand, he rushed out first. A dozen or 20 members of the root organization followed closely behind. He rushed up with a murderous look. Tsunade seemed genuinely furious. In the shocked and inexplicable eyes of those root members. Clenching that white and smooth pink fist. Unceremoniously, he punched the ground suddenly. Boom, there was a loud bang, accompanied by violent winds. The earth with a radius of several meters was directly torn apart. A large number of chaotic rocks flew horizontally, and were continuously impacted in all directions by this blow. The root members who rushed up were forced to retreat. Tsunade looks like a pampered, powerless Tsunade. At this moment, a terrifying strange power is displayed. People can't help but break out in a cold sweat. Brush. Tsunade's figure was fast and he rushed out. A root member who was closer was punched in the body before he could dodge in the future. Ah! With a scream, it flew straight out like a cannonball. It blasted straight into the depths of the forest. Bursts of roaring sound came, and I don't know how many trees were smashed in the middle. A large cloud of smoke and dust was startled. What? This scene happened only in the blink of an eye. Let the other root members who have not had time to stabilize their stature have no time to support them. Naturally, the root organization does not have information about Tsunade, and they even know that the other party has amazing power and physical skills are not weak. But even if he was mentally prepared, when he actually saw it, he still couldn't help feeling a little cold. Each one is a little creepy. Without him, because of violence. This encounter is either dead or disabled. It is impossible to fight this woman in close quarters. You guys, leave me here. Tsunade refused to give up, and charged at another root member again. Fire-style Great Fireball Technique. Wind-style Wind Cut Technique. Lightning-style Lei Guang. At this time, stabilize the figure, and the root members scattered around reacted. Without any hesitation, one by one quickly formed seals and launched an attack on Tsunade. Ha! Ha! Huge fireballs, fierce wind blades, dazzling thunder. From all directions, they slammed towards Tsunade one after another. Wood-style wooden ingot wall. Between electric light and flint. Lu Ren strikes again. Thick wooden slats broke through the ground one by one. There, an oval defense was formed at an astonishing speed. Firmly blocked the left and right sides and behind of Tsunade, protecting it. Boom, boom, lots of attacks, blocked by that unbreakable shield. At the same time, the root member who was targeted by Tsunade narrowly escaped Tsunade's violent fist. But before he had time to distance himself, he felt a sharp pain in his abdomen. It was as if the internal organs were directly ruptured. Wow, the whole person vomited blood. Like a cannonball, it was blown upside down and flew out. Ah, Tsunade, who was originally majestic and killed the quartet, saw the blood flying. Unexpectedly, couldn't help but tremble there. Sister Tsunade. Seeing this, Lu Ren shouted. Master Tsunade's blood phobia has flared up again. Shizune was shocked. Holding kunai in his hand, he rushed up. Protected by the immobile Tsunade, narrowly blocked the attack of a root ninja. On weekdays, the hidden weapon hidden in the sleeve is activated immediately. Zoo. One after another, the poisonous needles shot out. The other root ninjas who rushed forward could not help but change their colors. Dodged in a hurry and was forced to retreat. And Lu Ren, who also rushed up. Directly dragged by a Mingan member. The employer wants his body, don't show mercy. Several root members were murderous. The cold light of the blade in his hand was shining, and he was the first to strike from all directions. He slashed at Lu Ren mercilessly. Wood-style cutting technique. Without warning, Lu Ren, who was in a dangerous situation, had cold eyes and a sneer. A large number of extremely sharp branches were thrown out from between his hands. It stormed towards the root members who were surrounded in all directions. Shish. The complexion of a member of the Mingan organization changed drastically. However, they are well trained on weekdays. All of a sudden, I felt a blur in front of my eyes. Chi froze there. Can't move. Oops, it's an illusion. What time is it? Untie those root members that react. Either make a mudra with one hand, or bite the tip of your tongue without hesitation. One after another, they got rid of the illusion that Lu Ren had quietly released on them without knowing when. However, the branches that were attacked by the storm were already close at hand. A member of Mingan couldn't dodge, and was accidentally pierced by a branch. Ah! The next moment, the branches inserted into their bodies suddenly forked and grew wildly. Throughout their entire beings, pierced the guts from the inside, tore the body apart. Blood dripping, horrible, people can't help but be horrified. Cool from head to toe. Hiss. Watching this horrific scene. Even Shizune, who has traveled around with Tsunade all these years and has seen blood and experienced many bloody scenes, can't help but gasp. Some scalp tingling. Really appreciate the horror of wood style. If you are stabbed by hidden weapons such as shuriken and kunai, even if it is poisonous, as long as it does not hurt the vitals, at least you can still be saved. But if he was directly hit by Lu Ren's move, it might be a miracle that he survived. You are much weaker than I imagined. Look at the surviving root ninjas. Lu Ren's face was indifferent, and he said lightly, in this case, you all go to die. He had preconceived ideas. I am only 8 years old, my age is too young, and my strength still needs to be improved. But after fighting with these root members, he found that he had not overestimated the strength of the enemy. Instead, he completely underestimated himself. After training like crazy these days, in the martial art duel with Wood Clone, he completely forced himself to death without mercy. Because of this, his physical skills improved by leaps and bounds, and his nerve response was astonishingly fast. Even without Sharingan enabled, in the face of the swift and fierce siege of these root members, they cooperated tacitly. As a Logia Sensen fruit-capable person, his physique is far beyond that of ordinary people, and his body is fully capable of responding immediately, effectively blocking and counter-attacking. Let's go. No more nonsense. Lu Ren rushed out with a murderous look. ... A surviving root ninja glanced at each other. While quickly storming out, he threw black spheres directly at Lu Ren, who was about to rush up. Wooden ingot wall. A huge oval wooden shield appeared. Block those black spheres. Boom. Accompanied by an explosion. A lot of smoke filled the air, and those surviving root members have disappeared. Lu Ren, those guys are very insidious, be careful of the poison mixed in the smoke. Seeing this, Tsunade, who couldn't help shaking, reminded loudly there. Sister Shizune, you are here to protect Sister Tsunade. Lu Ren is skilled and bold. He went straight out without hesitation. I'll get rid of them. Lu Ren, don't be impulsive. Tsunade and Shizune changed their faces and shouted there. However, the young and energetic Lu Ren rushed into the depths of the forest regardless. I do not know how long it has been. Seeing that no one came to attack himself and Shizune, he confirmed that no one should be watching anymore. Gang Nan was pale and his body was shaking uncontrollably. Stand up all at once. This kid is too messy. Scanning the messy field around, and those bloody corpses, Tsunade frowned, and said to Shizune, Shizune, you dispose of these corpses at the scene, and don't leave any traces of wood style. I gonna go see. After all, the opponent is Shimura Danzo, who has been famous for a long time, and has always acted fiercely and used everything. Although she knew very well that Lu Ren's talent was astonishing, and in terms of strength, it could even be said to have surpassed her teacher, but after all, he was too young and lacked combat experience. She worried that in the face of Danzo's scheming schemer, this guy might suffer a loss if he was careless. It is necessary to press the formation. Yes, Master Tsunade, please rest assured and leave it to me. Looking at Tsunade's back, Shizune nodded seriously. She naturally knew that Princess Konoha, one of the Sannin, who used to be famous on the battlefield and made countless enemies fearful, had returned. Tsunade no longer affected by phobia. She doesn't need to worry at all. Whoosh whoosh. In the lush forest, on top of towering giant trees, a series of swift figures stepped on the huge branches and kept jumping. Master Danzo, that guy is catching up. ... Danzo's eyes were dark, and he sneered, I'm afraid he didn't catch up. The wood style he displayed is indeed far more powerful than that traitor in Tianzang. It's not in vain for me to come here myself. Previously, Chenny Lu Ren used the cutting technique. Cooperating with the unstoppable illusion, many root members were killed in an instant. This performance really surprised him. He couldn't wait even more, and wanted to take such a genius under his command. Kaka, while undoing the bandage on his right arm, it exposed the arm that was tightly wrapped in metal, and a special seal was applied to prevent it from being directly seen through by pupil techniques such as white eyes and Sharingan. Okay, here, swipe, swipe. I do not know how long it has been. Just when Danzo felt that he had attracted the opponent far enough, he was about to stop. Without warning, the big tree at the foot seemed to come alive. Without warning, thick vines emerged one after another. What? Danzo's eyes narrowed sharply, and his heart beat violently. He jumped up without hesitation, narrowly dodging the vines attacking from all directions. It fell to the ground and raised smoke and dust. But his subordinates didn't react as fast as him. Shish, everyone be careful. Cut them. Green vines shot out like lightning, binding their feet in an instant. Immediately afterwards, without waiting for them to swing their knives and chop them off. More vines have already emerged, binding them firmly. How can it be? He sucked our chakra. Master Danzo, save me. But the next moment, they all showed horror. It is found that the chakra in the body is constantly being devoured and becomes weak and weak. Even the whole person shriveled at a speed visible to the naked eye. Quote pipe 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 ... quote. Accompanied by bursts of screams. A mummy with scary faces hangs there. Makes the scalp tingle. Quote ... quote. Like first Hokage, can wood style absorb other people's chakra? Looking at the subordinates who were bound by a large number of wooden vines and could not break free. Danzo couldn't help being shocked. Some couldn't believe it. It's only 8 years old, has it reached this level? He thinks he overestimates the opponent as much as possible. He realized that he still underestimated Chenny Lu Ren in the end. This kind of strength obviously cannot be speculated by common sense. But Danzo's eyes were full of indifference, and he ignored these subordinates' pleas for help. Instead, while maintaining vigilance, he quickly untied the somewhat heavy metal device in his hand that was blessed with a special sealing technique. Just watching with cold eyes, watching those rude ninjas being sucked dry, Chakra died of despair. Ah, isn't this one of the Konoha high-level quartet that I respect, the Nabekichi Shimura Danzo-sama, who is rumored to be responsible for Hokage? Under Danzo's gaze, the figure of Lu Ren emerged from the tree trunk in front of him strangely. Looking at Danzo full of teasing, with sarcasm, you are not hiding in the dark and dominating Konoha, why have you come all the way here? Chenny Lu Ren, do you know this old man? Listening to Lu Ren's teasing, Danzo's face was gloomy. But at the same time, he couldn't help frowning, looking at Chenny Lu Ren in surprise. It stands to reason that he lives in seclusion on weekdays and rarely shows his face in front of others. Limited by Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage, most of them can only work behind the scenes, and the other party should not know him. And it seems that he knows a lot about him. Could it be that woman Tsunade told him? No, I don't know. Lu Ren sarcastically, looking down at the other party, he asked grandly and loudly, who are you? Why are you pretending to be Shimura Danzo, the elder of our Konoha village? Pretending to be a member of the root organization, trying to assassinate Tsunade, one of the Sanins, Princess Konoha, and put the blame on Konoha's root leader. What is your conspiracy? What a sharp-mouthed brat. Shimura Danzo was expressionless, but his eyes were dark, revealing a cold murderous intent. But if you say so, the old man can rest assured. Kangdang. Talking. The metal device on the right hand was removed. On Danzo's bare shoulders, there is the face of first Hokage. On the right arm, there are pairs of scarlet and ferocious Sharingan inlaid on it, which makes people feel creepy. He didn't attack Lu Ren immediately. Instead, seal it directly there. For the sake of strength, make yourself look like this, you are such a disgusting guy. Looking at Danzo's right arm that not only has the first generation face, but also inlaid with Sharingan, making the scalp tingle, Lu Ren sarcastically said. He didn't intend to stop it. Not even planning to use Sharingan so soon. It was not easy to meet an opponent worthy of seriousness. Let the blood in his body boil a little bit. You don't know what war is, you grew up in a greenhouse, you have the blood of Senju, and you have awakened the same wood style as first Hokage, you were lucky enough to make people jealous. Shimura Danzo's face remained unchanged. Pull off the bandage on the right eye, revealing a Sharingan in the shape of a three-hook jade. Looking directly at Lu Ren above, he said coldly, of course I don't know the sorrow without strength. Chenny Lu Ren, this power of yours will definitely belong to me. His eyes were burning. Clenching his right fist, he said loudly to Lu Ren, the old man will lead you, put an end to the troubled times, bring peace to the ninja world, and create a new era. Well, is this your dream? Lu Ren smiled and said, unfortunately, you won't see infinite Tsukuyomi anymore. Talking, right hand aimed at Danzo. In his vigilant eyes. Squeeze it. Scrub. Without warning, one after another, sharp wooden thorns burst out from the ground. Attacked from all directions. What? Between electric light and flint. Shimura Danzo's complexion changed drastically, and Shimura Danzo, who had no time to dodge, was directly penetrated. The whole person was stabbed into a hornet's nest. Blood dripping. Shimura Danzo spat blood from the mouth. Looking at Lu Ren above in disbelief, "You." But the next moment, he lost his breath of life. He fell there, motionless. Is it finished? Looking at Danzo's bloody, horrific corpse, Lu Ren jumped down from the tree trunk with a calm expression. That may not be. Sudden, a voice echoed. Danzo, who was supposed to die, appeared behind him strangely. And without giving Lu Ren a chance to react at all, his hands formed a seal quickly there. Spit violently at Lu Ren. Wind-style vacuum sphere. Shoo, shoo, one after another swift wind bomb. Like a real galloping bullet, it pierced through the air towards Lu Ren from behind. What's more, there were no less than 10 paths, which respectively locked every dead corner of Lu Ren's body, making it inevitable for him to avoid. Show no mercy. I've been guarding against you for a long time. Lu Ren sneered. As expected, without any surprise. With a slight lift of his right hand, wood-style wooden ingot wall. Scrub. A large number of wooden strips broke through the ground. At an astonishing speed, they formed an oval hemispherical shield. Boom, boom. The wooden shield that appeared out of thin air instantly blocked the impact of the continuous blasting wind bombs. There were sporadic splashes of sawdust. Bursts of loud noises made one's scalp tingle. But the giant shield, which was as hard as steel and had astonishing defensive power, was not directly penetrated. Lu Ren, who was protected inside, was even richer and unscathed. At the same time, Danzo's feet, several vines suddenly grew wildly. Lightning grabbed his legs, and while devouring his chakra, it pulled him hard to the ground. What? Danzo's complexion changed drastically, but can't break free. While being pulled into the ground, one sharp vine after another pierced through his body in an instant. Ah! He let out a miserable scream from the whole body. Die directly, not waiting for Lu Ren to smile. His body disappeared strangely. In an instant, Shimura Danzo, who was safe and sound, reappeared on the left side of Lu Ren. Wind-style vacuum wave. His hands quickly formed seals. With wind-style chakra accumulated in his mouth, he spat out violently. Call out. Between electric light and flint. A pair of extremely sharp wind blades flew out of his mouth one after another. It rushed towards Lu Ren like lightning. Danzo, what you are most proud of is wind style. Lu Ren's face remained unchanged, with a sneer. The perception ability that is turned on all the time has already locked the position of Danzo for the first time. At some point, he had already completed the seal with one hand, and suddenly vomited, wind-style vacuum waves. Woo, woo, one after another astonishing wind blades tore apart the atmosphere in an instant. Even Danzo couldn't help but be shocked. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, Lu Ren directly formed a mudra with one hand, using an advanced version of the vacuum wave that is more powerful than the vacuum wave. You must crush yourself in the field you are best at. Boom, the wind blade he released was mercilessly shredded. In an instant, a large number of wind blades attacked one after another at an astonishing speed. Boom, Danzo reacted quickly, dodging left and right. A large number of wind blades fell through, and the castration continued to cut open the trees. However, he couldn't completely avoid it after all. One accident, unable to dodge in time, was directly sliced open by an extremely fierce wind blade, and was broken at the waist. There was a scream. The whole person is divided into two. Down there. Next second, the bloody corpse disappeared strangely. He reappeared a few meters away. He stared at Lu Ren in surprise. You don't seem surprised at all. I can come back from the dead again and again. Isn't it Izanagi? Lu Ren is hanging on and playing. Glancing at the Sharingan on his right arm, which seems to be connected to the optic nerve, which is constantly turning, making the scalp numb, he sneered. There are still 9 eyes left, work harder. I want to know whether your chakra consumption is the first to fail, or I am the first to fail. HMPH, you know quite a lot. The old man is also very curious about how strong you are. With Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan underpinnings. The confident Danzo smiled confidently. It is inconceivable that an 8-year-old kid can possess such strength. He wasn't in a hurry to use the distinguished heavenly gods, he just wanted to fully verify how amazing the other party was. Looking at Lu Ren with fiery eyes, he said loudly, "Chenny Lu Ren, join Root and work for me. If you and I join forces, we can sweep the ninja world. I promise, I can support you as a Hokage in the future." "Sorry, I decline." Lu Ren was unmoved. Looking directly at Shimura Danzo, his tone was full of unspeakable sarcasm. "I don't need to join forces with you, give me time, and I can sweep the ninja world by myself, why add such a burden like you?" He didn't finish his sentence. The whole person ran wildly towards Danzo. In the astonished and gloomy eyes of the other party, Lu Ren's body continued to expand, and in a blink of an eye, he had turned into a huge wooden golem more than 10 meters high. "Also, I'm not interested in Hokage's seat." "What?" Witnessed this scene. Danzo's pupils constricted sharply, and he lost his voice in disbelief. He remembered that there was no such technique in the wood-style scroll in Konoha's collection. But the next moment, woo-hoo-hoo, accompanied by violent wind pressure, the wooden giant rushed forward, looking down at the shocked Shimura Danzo. Already raised the violent huge fist. The fist prints store the terrifying chakra. Severely crushed the atmosphere. Boomed over. Unparalleled strange power. Boom. The loud money noise was deafening. Smoke and dust billowed up all over the sky. With the wooden giant as the center, within a radius of hundreds of meters, the earth directly cracked and collapsed. Woo. Quack. The extremely violent air waves turned into an astonishing storm. A large number of trees were directly crushed and swayed, and they were broken in the middle. The terrible gust of wind brought a large number of rocks and vegetation, and frantically impacted in all directions. It's impossible to open your eyes at all. That is. In the forest hundreds of meters away, Tsunade, who just caught up and was about to watch the battle from a distance, it was almost blown away by the sudden gust of wind. The feet are condensed with chakra, and they are firmly attached to the towering trees under their feet. Hold your figure steady. Looking at the smoke and dust that gradually dissipated, the pupils of the huge figure standing there widened suddenly. Woohoo! The wind was blowing. A large cloud of smoke and dust swept through the sky. Within a radius of hundreds of meters, the towering trees with luxuriant branches and leaves had disappeared, turning into a shocking ruin. There are rocks of different sizes everywhere. The entire land collapsed directly. Even the groundwater can't stop gushing out. And there was only a huge figure standing tall. It is a wooden giant with a lot of leaves growing all over its body. As that, Lu Ren, looking at the ruins ahead. A tall figure standing there. Tsunade froze. Lu Ren at this moment is completely different from his usual self. Looking at the exaggerated scene, she lost her voice in disbelief. Could it be? Did he use the strange power fist in the state of being gigantic? Being so far away from Tsunade, I was deeply trapped. Not to mention Danzo, who had no time to dodge and was literally punched. Relying on Izanagi, he transformed death into a dream, and reappeared behind Lu Ren. His face was moved, and he was indescribably amazed. What kind of power is this? The blow just now has the power of an S-rank ninjutsu. Talking, his hands have quickly finished sealing. Aiming at the wooden giant incarnated by Lu Ren, he vomited violently, but with such a large body, it has become the best target. Wind-style vacuum Lianbo. Woo, woo. One after another, extremely sharp wind blades kept cutting out. Lightning burst to the huge wooden golem. However, with the ability of sensen fruit, the whole person is transformed into Lu Ren, who is a huge tree ant. Boom. There was a sudden step on his feet. The ground cracked, and his whole body jumped up like lightning. It directly showed the terrifying speed and reaction ability, avoiding Danzo's surprise attack. Let those violent wind blades fall through the air directly, unabated, and blasted into the distance. Woo-hoo-hoo. The howling wind continued, looking at the huge wooden golem that jumped hundreds of meters into the air and fell straight down like a mountain. Danzo's pupils shrank sharply, and the stars retreated like lightning. Boom. The loud noise shook the sky. Smoke and dust filled the air, and rocks splashed. The astonishing gust of wind could not stop raging. It's hard to keep your eyes open. The gigantic wooden golem stands there. Lu Ren looked at Danzo and gave a playful chuckle. You run pretty fast. Summoning technique. He narrowly escaped that extremely exaggerated blow. Danzo, who bit his finger, flipped the knot seal there. Suddenly pressed to the ground. In a split second, a large number of summoning spells spread continuously. Boom, the smoke filled the air. A gigantic beast with a huge body and a shape resembling a mammoth appeared there. This is Danzo's summoning beast, Dream Eater and Nightmare Taper. Roar. It roared, with astonishing power. It directly opened its huge mouth. A powerful suction burst out. Woohoo! A large number of rocks and vegetation flew over continuously. The astonishing wind pressure made the gigantic Lu Ren a little unsteady. But the next moment, he rushed out directly. Is it the legendary dream-eating beast, the Nightmare? At the same time, he pointed his big hand at Danzo, who sneaked behind him at some point, and shook it violently. Bang bang! A large number of saplings broke through the ground, growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Crazy winding towards Danzo, whose half-body is still underground. Shua Shua. Danzo, who was circling behind Lu Ren and attacking with the ability of the Dream Eater, changed drastically, and could only rush out of the ground in embarrassment, dodging constantly. But the next moment, huge wooden giant, suddenly, it appeared next to the dream-eating beast. With a punch towards his ferocious head, the wolf blasted towards it. As that, the body flicker technique. Danzo's pupils shrank sharply. And with such an exaggerated body shape, he can still use such a swift body flicker technique. It's just unbelievable. Boom, roar, in a split second. A lot of blood splattered. The dream-eating behemoth was bleeding from the head, howling miserably there. He was directly mercilessly hit by the terrifying strange power fist, flying out like a cannonball. It turned into smoke in midair. Disappear. Danzo, if your skills stop here, then you can stay here forever. The gigantic wooden golem began to shrink. AICC. After verifying the power of jauntization for a while, Lu Ren, who had regained his original strength, rushed straight to Danzo. HMPH, the old man has many tricks, but you have no chance to see them. Seeing this, Danzo was not to be outdone. Came running wildly. Wood-style cutting technique. Lu Ren's eyes were serious, and he flicked his right hand violently. A large number of sharp wooden thorns burst out like lightning. Intensive bombardment towards Danzo. Swipe, swipe, with Sharingan's amazing insight. Danzo kept dodging, narrowly escaped, avoiding those big thorns. Wooz. A huge wooden hand suddenly broke through the ground. The wrist is in the shape of a tree, growing and extending from the ground at an astonishing speed, rushing towards the surprised and unexpected Danzo like lightning. In an instant, he caught Danzo, whose complexion changed drastically and had no time to dodge. Swipe. Lu Ren shook his right hand sharply. Ah! Danzo screamed. In an instant, it was crushed into bloody mud. A large amount of seeping blood flowed out from the huge wooden hand. But the next moment, Danzo, who should have died, the whole person suddenly appeared in front of Lu Ren strangely. Chenny Lu Ren, you really gave this old man a big surprise. Looking at Lu Ren, who rushed straight at the first time, Danzo had a ferocious face, and showed a proud smile. You can perform those wood-style ninjutsu without making a mudra, and even other ninjutsu can be easily completed with one hand, but you are still too tender. In the scarlet right eye, the black three-hook jade suddenly turned into a four-cornered windmill, spinning continuously. Cast distinguished heavenly gods directly on Lu Ren. What? That's Mangekyo Sharingan. A large number of wooden thorns grew out of his right arm, and Lu Ren, who was about to attack, changed his face drastically. It seems to be afraid of being hit by an illusion. While storming out without hesitation, he closed his eyes abruptly, not daring to look directly at the Sharingan exposed by Danzo. It's useless, it's too late. Danzo grinned grimly. Use it for me, Chenny Lu Ren. This wood style, who inherited the first Hokage, and even a genius boy with talent no less than that of the first Hokage, was finally subdued by him. The distinguished heavenly gods he just used. It is to let Chenny Lu Ren be loyal to him forever. Yeah, in Danzo's shocked gaze, the corners of Lu Ren's mouth curled up, and he opened a pair of scarlet eyes. The Mangekyo pattern in the left eye is spinning rapidly. UGA Yuhun illusion rebound. The terrifying power that tried to invade his brain and change his will. It was bounced back in an instant. Directly invalidated. Kai. A vine burst through the air like lightning. Instantly pierced through Danzo's right eye, shrinking back. Bring out a large piece of blood. Ah! Danzo, who was caught off guard, let out a scream. The bloody eyeball was brought out, just hanging on the vines. However, bloody, Danzo, who should have had his right eye taken. Like a wisp of green smoke, the whole person disappeared strangely once again. Even the blood splattered and the eyeballs hanging on the vines are the same. Some people can't believe it. How could you have a Mangekyo Sharingan? In an instant, Danzo, who escaped through Izanagi, appeared a few meters away, with an unbelievable expression on his face. Staring at Lu Ren in front of him, or staring at the Mangekyo pattern in his eyes, he could no longer calm down, and the distinguished heavenly gods are actually ineffective against you. Chenny Lu Ren not only owns the Mangekyo Sharingan, and his distinguished heavenly gods, which is the strongest whole card, is actually ineffective against him. This made him really unbelievable, and it was inevitable that he lost his composure and could no longer maintain his composure. For a time, a strong uneasiness arose. You are not from Uchiha, why is there a Sharingan? He looked directly at Chenny Lu Ren. Danzo was a little surprised, and asked through gritted teeth. He couldn't believe it, because the other party's Mangekyo Sharingan could be closed freely. This means that the other party is likely to have Uchiha's blood. But the root organization has already investigated Chenny Lu Ren's background. The opponent is at best a side branch of the Senju clan. What on earth is it? Want to know? Looking at Danzo, who was full of doubts and full of gaffes, Lu Ren smiled and said, "Sorry, I have no obligation to make you so clear. In this world, there are many forbidden techniques that can summon the dead back from the Pure Land." Although Lu Ren is not very concerned about whether the information is leaked. But he will not foolishly tell the enemy about his abilities. Is that Uchiha's forbidden technique Izanagi? Outside the battlefield. Standing on a big tree, Tsunade watching the battle from a distance. Witnessing the process of Danzo's resurrection from the dead, I couldn't help being a little shocked. Seeing Danzo, who was confronting Lu Ren in a stalemate, looking like a ghost, she frowned. Danzo, that guy is really disgusting, he actually made himself into this look. But the strength shown by Lu Ren really surprised Tsunade. She knew very well that Lu Ren was far from using his cards. Basically, Danzo became a sparring partner. Snort. Danzo's complexion changed, but he didn't hesitate. Looking straight at Chenny Lu Ren in front of him, he ran out without showing any weakness. His eyes were greedy and extremely sinister. Then I will accept your eyes without hesitation. No matter how amazing the opponent's ability is. After all, he was just an 8-year-old kid. He didn't believe it, he still couldn't win a mere small circle. You should worry about yourself first, you only have 8 eyes left. Lu Ren's face remained unchanged, and he sneered there. No, it's Shisui's 1, and there are 9 more. The voice did not fall. He flicked his right hand. A large number of wooden thorns rushed out towards Danzo in front of him. Said it was 9, but Mangekyo Sharingan, how precious. Until the last moment, it is naturally impossible for Danzo to use it as a consumable for Izanagi. Earth-style earth flow wall. Danzo narrowed his gaze. Retreat without hesitation. At the same time, both hands quickly formed seals. One snap. Boom, boom, on the broken ground. A thick earth wall bulged up. Blocked the wooden thorns that continued to attack. Wind-style vacuum sword. Danzo jumped onto the wall and kept running. Holding a handful of kunai. Stocked with generous doses of wind-style chakra, infused directly on top. Condensed into an extremely sharp cyan chakra sword. At an astonishing speed, he rushed towards Lu Ren. Wood-style the tree world is coming. Lu Ren looked indifferent. In a blink of an eye, countless saplings grew directly from the ground. At an astonishing speed, they turned into towering giant trees. Moreover, they seemed to have self-awareness. Frantically entangled and grabbed Shimura Danzo. Is this a first-generation technique? His eyes narrowed sharply, Danzo's heart skipped a beat. Busy and jumping constantly, avoiding the opponent who can't stop attacking. Although he has the cells of first generation, he can also display wood style. But it does not belong to self-awakening like Lu Ren, and it is not like Tianzang Yamato, which fuses the diluted first-generation gene, thus obtaining the blood inheritance limit of wood style. It's just a coincidence, borrowing the yin chakra of those Sharingan to balance the first-generation cells transplanted in the right arm. Strictly speaking, he doesn't have wood style per se. Only the right arm can be used to perform a few wood style ninjutsu. This is why although he has mastered wood style, he rarely uses wood style. Moreover, the phagocytosis of first-generation cells is too strong. A little carelessness may cause the two forces of yin dun and yang dun on the right arm to lose balance, and then go berserk and swallow him directly. Scrub. Bang. Bang. Danzo kept dodging. The extremely sharp wind-style chakra sword in his hand kept waving. The wooden vines that came one after another were constantly cut off. But in the blink of an eye, it grew wildly again. He attacked without hesitation. It is hard to guard against. In this situation, don't talk about getting close to Lu Ren. Even he himself was nearly caught. One mistake. A large number of wooden vines struck like lightning, grabbing Danzo's legs directly. Caught off guard, Danzo's complexion changed drastically, before he could swing his sword to cut through those vines. There are countless trees and vines around, like a cat smelling fishy. There have been successive attacks. The chakra on the body is continuously absorbed. Danzo stared hard. The right hand that is still able to move is barely manipulating kunai. Ah! Pierced his heart hard. Blood splattered. Originally bound by wooden vines, he disappeared strangely. It's really cruel to choose to commit suicide. Seeing Danzo committing suicide in order to get out of the predicament, and then resurrecting with Izanagi's forbidden technique, Lu Ren chuckled. Behind, it seems to have eyes. Turn around, looking at Danzo who appeared behind him in an instant. There are 7 left. Glancing at his right arm, feeling his own chakra, Danzo's expression was gloomy. Besides, the consumption of chakra is too high. We can't delay any longer. We must decide the outcome with this brat as soon as possible. Wind-style vacuum datama. His hands quickly formed seals. With the wind-style chakra in its mouth, he spat hard at Lu Ren who had just turned around. Shoot! Swoosh! One after another, the sharp wind bombs tore through the atmosphere, carrying terrifying penetrating power. One after another broke through the air and came. It's useless. Lu Ren chuckled. -0. A huge wooden shield broke through the ground directly, blocking the wind bombs that are constantly bombarding and killing. No matter in size or power, they are more powerful than the previous vacuum sphere. Boom! Sawdust splash. Looking at the unremarkable huge wooden shield, it was so strong that it once again blocked Danzo's fierce attack. But in the face of those astonishingly powerful and unstoppable large numbers of wind bombs, it was still shaken continuously. Above, there are many potholes, some are shocking. But after all, it was not directly penetrated. Whizzing. Danzo's hand. A shuriken appeared. The wind-style chakra is accumulated in the mouth, and poured into the top of the shuriken. Towards Lu Ren, keep throwing it out. Which, whoop. The shuriken that was spinning rapidly turned into an invisible windmill, cutting through the atmosphere. The wind-style shurikens that struck one after another were extremely sharp. Like a rotten man, he tore open the wooden shield that was already overwhelmed by the continuous vacuum bombardment. Unabated, they attacked Lu Ren. Kai, for a while. Unsuspecting Lu Ren, it was thus divided into 2. However, his whole body strangely turned into a wood carving. No bloodline splashes. What? Danzo felt a chill in his heart. Noticing something bad, I was just about to turn around. But a huge wooden vine directly penetrated his body. At some point, Lu Ren appeared behind him and said with a smile, "There are still 6 left." The impaled Danzo disappeared strangely. Appeared directly behind Lu Ren. The roots burst. Die, brat. The voice did not fall. A sapling suddenly sprouted from his right arm. Swipe. And at a speed visible to the naked eye, it turned into a giant tree. Without giving Lu Ren any chance to escape, he covered and swallowed Lu Ren and himself in an instant. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.